scary for CFO if that's a mismatch with KT.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard to anticipate this matchup. Expect the unexpected, I think, is the gist here. I want to know what fans have voted here at MasterCard GG on X. They are calling the match for CFO with 52.9% of the vote. They
Konnichiwa everybody. Today kita akan menonton CFO versus KT, the match we have been waiting for.
But yeah,
I was waiting for the medal. Nice to see it.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you,
Here
Neil.
to prove it all and earn your ticket for the next
Neil
round
live today,
for
huh?
KT. It's
Yes.
about breaking that curse and finally making it to semifinals. And CFO, it is about earning their legacy. It is time to kick off our second 2025 Worlds quarterfinals.
Ayo Krang. Mana trailernya?
星星淬炼于往昔，
Oh.
或破案而生，或蛰伏而出。
Tears in the eyes of Longshu's faces. They have beaten the gods, and Longshu Gaming are going to Worlds. Is academic, immaculate, and undefeated as Longshu and the storm that swept through Group B.
Asli keren cuy, BDD sumpah kelihatannya dewa banget anjir.
인터넷에서만 보던 선수들을 실제로 봐가지고 되게 신기했던 것 같습니다.
Sama ini nih.
BDD 선수와
Fake angkatan faker tuh dia.
있을 때는 제가 항상 배우는 입장이었고 도움을 많이 받았습니다. 그때 아마 막내였었거든요. 그래서 형들한테 되게 좀 잘 융화돼야
keluar dikit, what the fuck.
2017년도 때 커즈는 프로로서의 준비가 하나도 안 됐다고 생각합니다.
BDD 与 Cuz 2017年，他们被誉为 LCK 新生代之星，但炸响的春雷却归于平静。
kalah sama Samsung Galaxy dulu ya. Sering.
八强仍是潜能翻越的关山，当期望已烫下记号，
Expectation becomes your identity.
又将如
How can you break the pattern and begin a new
何
legacy?
创新章？
Coughing baby parent versus hydrogen bomb.
进到八强的话，就是非常开心吧。
Let's go, Dogo. Show you the best. Show them the best ADC in this tournament. Don't lose to that fraud dog
重
dumb.
新回到比较强大的舞台，就是需要证明自己嘛。
Solo kill Dora anjir.
因为这是我第一年打一级联赛，我能够进入到八强，就是非常的开心，非常的期待。
Tempat yang puke udah gak ada sekarang, pecah meledak.
但青出于蓝，便要胜。
Let's go Res, come on.
我觉得这 KT 这支队伍就是
I think
玩得
KT
非常的
pretty
稳健
solid.
嘛，就是
Iya,
防守
KT tuh mainnya rapih anjir.
我一直都很崇拜你 BDD 选手，但我相信我们这个队伍可以更进步，然后可能爬得更高一些。
Ya katanya panutannya si BDD itu panutannya si Hongkyo tuh Chovy sama BDD.
而 KT 能否吹散旧日阴霾，迎接曙光？
작년보다 올해는 제 실력에 확신을 가지게 되고 게임이 더 잘 풀린다고 느껴졌습니다. 홍큐 선수, 제가 우상이라고 들었는데 제가 어떻게 이 자리에 올랐는지
I'm not sure what it
보여드리겠습니다.
makes to become a sheesh.
KT
KT,
CFO
CFO,
Give your heart,
give your heart and earn your legacy.
earn your legacy.
Damn! Huh? Kiss BDD, what the hell? Sacrifice it all if you're on your name. Let's go! Come on!
全球的英雄联盟粉丝们，大家好，欢迎来到上海梅赛德斯奔驰文化中心，一起见证2025全球总决赛8强赛。今晚我们将共同来揭晓，到底哪支战队能够与金曲会师争夺通往成都的门票。上海，让我们热烈欢呼，迎接今晚的对决 ，KT 对阵
Shoes! Oh, banger! This match is gonna be banger! Oh my god, this match is gonna be the best day of my life.
Quarterfinal at Worlds 2025. As KT take on CFO and Medic, I'm joined by Dagda and Azael to lead you through what is hopefully 5 games of neck and neck action.
And what an atmosphere it is already. The players just walked not 5 feet behind us coming in. They are looking excited. They are looking confident. And I feel like this series is going to be such a treat because it's very hard to predict. Both teams really have shown us some impressive.
Wait, is that Peter? What is Peter? Why Peter watch? Peter, you need to play the game. Si Peter kenapa nonton anjir?
And as you say, it's like KT
Supportnya KT malah nonton kok.
looking absolutely fantastic, but on the opposite side, CFO, a breakout year for these guys, and it is fantastic to now see them making it to the quarterfinals and seeing if they can keep that legacy alive of the Korean Killers.
And for players like Hongkyu,
Oke, game 1 yang main driver. Itu artinya picknya bakal tank top ya. Kalau misalkan tank top udah pasti harus ban Rumble. Soalnya si Perfect itu jago Rumble. Ada baiknya kita ban Rumble.
Who always seem to struggle when it comes to the quarterfinal.
Yeah, and they have to get past a region that didn't exist in Season 2. Yeah. The only time their region actually went past the
versus
quarterfinals
Jinja ini. Ngaruh banget jungler pathy patch ini.
I do think you have a pretty massive task here for CFO though when you're looking at strength versus strength. You know, Hongkyu and Junja.
Kalau misalkan lawan masanya si Driver. Driver gak main Gwen.
The heart and soul of this team.
Apa? Galio bisa sih, Galio sih. Driver bisa main Galio harusnya. Galio itu matchup yang cocok ke Rumble.
I don't think that he has really had the success in his career that you would expect for someone of that caliber. He just hasn't always had the roster surrounding him to really make it happen, but he truly has a great opportunity here to go to World Semifinals.
And he has been the life and breath of this team at this tournament. I mean, so many times they haven't actually found their footing in the early stages, and it's BDD Shockwave that pulls them back into the game.
BDD Shockwave will find them.
Teams like Gen.G that solidify themselves the step towards this tournament. And it is going to be the eyes on him to see if he can do it once more here today.
And he's leading all mid laners.
So, what is what we're cooking today, sir?
Stalwart in the later stages of the game, and he's also a player who has a lot of creativity, who can play different pocket picks, which I think really could benefit them here today. I'm so excited.
It's just KT, come on, don't disrespect KT. KT itu satu-satunya tim yang berhasil ngalahin Gen.G
lost a single game here.
The LCK bracket stage.
And they were kind of playing in a different style of meta. Caitlyn was very high prio for them.
The only team that beat Gen.G on bracket stage, KT. So we need to be careful. Okay, Sion ban, Orianna ban, Price ban. Ooh, Rumble free. Is Perfect gonna play Rumble blind?
What gets through
Rumble Galio matchup in the first team.
As it is banned out on 3 here, does mean we have things like the Wukong that have been so
Wukong is also free. Kas bisa main Wukong. Ini kombonya Wukong Galio ini. Kas main Galio. Driver bisa main Hongkyu main itu. Galio bisa diambil dulu sih. Sinja Wukong langsung dipicok. Diambil dong Galionya. Galionya dia. Oh, Rumble. Galio, gas Driver.
The mid lane answer. Yeah, wow.
Driver main Galio ini. Atau nggak bisa Gwen Galio sih udah paling enak.
Ultimates on the Rumble have been fantastic as well in solidifying some of these team.
Galio top lane, Driver bisa gak?
And do CFO now just round it out with an answer in the top lane, or do they want to try and solidify that AD carry for Doggo before that pinch starts to come through?
I would honestly love to see an Ornn. I feel like Ornn is a really good matchup in a Rumble.
Ornn juga biasanya dipakai ke Rumble.
So
Lane-nya enak. Bisa haras
soalnya. Predictable draft, through the first 3 on both sides. I think both teams really kind of playing.
Cuma nanti late game-nya perih, Cok.
I'm curious to see if it is going to be more targeted bans towards the player rather than the meta. How concerned are you about Corki? How concerned are you about things like Draven?
Ya KT emang gak bisa diremehin loh. Tahu-tahu ngalahin Genji anjir. Gak ada angin, gak ada hujan, Genji kalah sama KT. KT is weird.
I feel like his job should be to neutralize bot lane.
Something we have seen shine for KT as well is that Caitlyn pick. Moving it around the map in the early game, getting strong leads, and then just being able to siege really effectively. And with a Wukong, a Talia, a Rumble there to poke people out underneath the tower, even go for that all in on a siege. I actually really like the Caitlyn as an opportunity here for KT.
Yeah, especially when you think towards what KT
nggak nge-ban championnya Dogo ya. Ini Dogo bisa main championnya dia nih banyak. Championnya Dogo gak di-ban tuh.
Like the Wukong and the Rumble, especially towards those dragon objectives as this game goes on.
I wonder if Kaiwing's just going to go something like Alistar here.
Dogo can just play anything, actually. They just let play Dogo let Dogo play anything.
Might have tried to go, Alistar on 4 as a bit of a
Draven nih keluar nih, last pick.
Karma would be interesting. They don't necessarily need hard engagement support because they do have.
Kenapa aku bilang Draven? Soalnya last pick terus red side. Red side last pick udah pasti Draven, gak di-ban nih. Tapi yang aku cemasin ya, kalau misalkan Draven di match ini, mereka udah dapet Corki, oke, gak jadi, gak last pick soalnya. Kalau misalkan last pick tadi sebenarnya bisa Draven. Red set soalnya.
Been fantastic on it. It makes a ton of sense, and you now get to keep that answer in that support role as to how you want to try and operate.
I really would like to see something along the lines of the Rel here. I just
Corkinya Dogo juga jago sih.
Alongside the Rumble here, alongside the Talia.
Pemain yang harus kita cemaskan di sini tuh BDD sama Kas.
Yes, you have the Wukong, but I feel like Wukong generally works better kind of as that secondary engage.
Aku percaya Dogo jauh lebih jago dari Devdam. Cuma BDD sama Kas nih. These two are good. Perfect champion poolnya dikit. Kita punya 2 top laner, champion pool kita lebih banyak di top lane.
Okay at following up engages. If the Wukong goes in, you're jumping with a stand beside me next to him, start to get some concussive blow stacks onto the team around him, and then you have the follow-up from the Talia and the Rumble if you want it. CFO now looking towards their support. That counter pick for Kaiwing, it's the Nami. So if Kaiwing had ever played Nami, I would have said, nah man, that's a loss. It's a free L. But from this year on, he is actually really leveled up his game with decent chances.
Yeah, it does mean though for a CFO operating in team fights, they really need to be careful on how they use these like double ultimates on the Ornn and the Nami, because Braum can get a ton of value on them in team fights, and especially when I'm looking at KT, their one-item spike is incredibly strong. Double Triforce if you want to, the Sunder Sky even for the Wukong if you want to operate on that build. There is a ton of value that you can get in and around that mark, and if CFO aren't careful about their team fights, KT can snowball off of this single item.
They absolutely can, but at the same time, Nami obviously really strong laner here, and this is going to give them a lot of power in this 2v2. Unless you have Cuz getting down there in the bot lane, then I don't think the Nami should really be that scared of this matchup. And we've seen how aggressively Doggo likes
Konstruksi
to play.
Paling normal
He is
di
like
hari
frontlining
kerja.
on Corki. He is playing in your face. He's
ulti Ornn bisa di block Braum. Iya, itu Ornn sebenarnya bagusan Galio sih picknya dibanding Ornn. Bisa di counter Braum soalnya. Gila udah barudak Bandung, yo pasti orang di sana dukung KT bukan CFO. Iyalah, LCK mah banyak fansnya tuh. Predict score 3-1 CFO boleh lah. 3-1 CFO boleh sih. I don't want to watch 5 game of this. I don't think my heart is ready for 5 game. Apa tuh? Weh, nge-cheat tuh, ada tulisan CFO, ada tulisan KT, cok. Wah, nge-cheat LCK, cok. Ada tulisan KT-nya, anjir. Mau di first blood kan si Dogo. Buset, dikejar, cok. Paksa buang scale.
And this is that same bot lane that they actually used against AL.
Galak gini mainnya, woi.
Using that Corki plus the Nami, really
kalah
to a
petting
lot
dong
of
sama
success
Wukong.
in that one.
Shit.
And so I'm excited to see them take some of these risks. Like,
Oh,
is it a
dobrak
risk? Yes,
abrik
of
sama
course it
Katie.
is. Playing something like the Nami, you can get preyed on. If Wukong gets down there and you just get Q flashed by the Braum, concussive stun,
Wah, temponya dirusak, anjir.
it's harder to play around vision, but you drafted for engage on that top side. And though you're talking about it, Rob, I like your points. Like, there's a lot of value that the Braum can get, from against this Ornn Nami. But the other side of that is you can kind of stagger them,
Pindahin ke
right? So you
kiri,
can throw
tidak
the
bisa.
Nami ult, and then if that Braum shield is used, well, guess what? Then it opens the door for that Ornn one to kind of follow up afterwards. So it's like you can kind of look at it in two different ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, even different angles is also, like, if you can get Driver coming in on a flank or something like that, I think you can set up. It's just more about making sure then that you are able to get access. Because, again, I think if you hit that one-item spike for KT, being able to put pressure... Oh, well, I was going to say, if you had the Caitlyn, you can put more pressure on mid lane, but it can be difficult for you to regain access to some of these objectives if you end up losing it for KT.
Come on, CFO. Gara-gara tadi temponya dirusak sih early game-nya ya.
Going to be using that ebb and flow to heal them up through the wave. Also has that summon Airy, which does give you
Ngantuk,
that little bit of extra
ngantuk,
shielding
Cuk.
when you're buffing an ally. Docdam and
Tapi
Peter
ini
do
lebih
have the
seru
levels
daripada
first.
tidur.
They'll force Doggo and Kaiwing back underneath their tower.
Yeah, it's a little bit risky. Like I was checking, like,
Why
did he use them?
not,
Was there
Majida?
something that I missed? But I went back and yeah, he just didn't actually buy any potions. So, he's going to have a little bit more money when he does first go back to base. But the other side of that is, of course, if you're trading heavily, it can definitely be very risky.
Normal ini mah matchup Ornn Rumble.
For the extra mana regeneration,
Tapi terlalu kebuli sih ini early-nya.
I can save a little bit of gold now. If I can get that 100 gold earlier, actually gives us much more power in the lane.
BT ini Rumble main championnya si Perfect ya. Dia tuh kayaknya user Rumble paling jago deh sejauh ini. Yang aku kenal. Jadi aku udah nebak si Rumble bakal free sih. Bakal diambil maksudnya. Tapi aku nyangkanya Driver bakal main Galio gitu. Ternyata dia main Ornn. Kenalan kemarin ketemu di Ciamplas, Cuk. Dia lagi beli Batagor. Oke, siapa? Oh, lama. Oh, oh, CFO 2 for 1 is not good. Oh, shit.
That's the fight that we were hoping to see
2 for
in
1
this
is not
series
good.
coming through already. Over a Scuttle Crab. Everyone arrives, but it's KT who are able to get 2 off the back of this.
Yeah, and Docdam walks away with double buffs on the Ezreal here. We talked about, how you're drafting.
Ingat CFO, kamu gak bisa pakai kamu gak bisa pakai strategi sebelumnya. Ini KT lawannya.
Plus the assist has double buffs, and the wave is pushing away from the Corki. So it is looking difficult. I do wonder, if Driver might go towards bot, you could send Corki top, try to change things around. Peter here got very aggressive. Flashed in, Q flash straight up onto Junja. Went a bit too early, let's be honest. And so he does end up going down.
Ingat KT, this is not solo queue anymore.
Good for KT. They moved over
CFO
first. They
maksudnya.
really were putting so much pressure on in this fight. And Hongqiu just couldn't really get anything going.
Question I had in my mind coming into this series is how awake are KT? It has been 12 days since they last played a game at Worlds. They have only played 4 games at Worlds so far, and I think, although it is only the first fight, we see still where they
scary, like
skirmishing that team fight.
They kind of hiding their potential and still won, by the way. Mereka tuh kayak nyembunyiin kemampuan mereka, tapi masih menang anjir.
Docdam gets a kill. The wave is really bad for you, so it's so terrible for their 2v2
scary,
on bot side.
bro.
You see 500 plus
Some
gold
scary
lead.
shit.
So Driver is basically going to sacrifice to the team. Driver's saying, you know what? I will take the terrible wave. You go top, collect this wave that is pushing in towards me. They know they need to keep Doggo into a good spot. But it is a really
Although CFO yang terkenal menang early dibully,
it's not just
Cok.
about those kills, it's about the fallout afterwards.
And that will be the dragon, right? KT are with Cuz already on this bottom side. He just
Oh my god,
clears in towards
BDD
Dragon. He's gonna
lawan
get to take
berat
that
sih.
one up, and you've already got an AD carry to keep that push in the
Literally
bottom
top
side.
3 mid
KT
laner.
stacking dragons playing for team fights is going to be fantastic.
BDD is up there, man.
And that
Top
wave is
3.
still frozen against Driver. So he's actually, as they go up, he's going to try to run down and fix that wave, and he will be able to get it pushed in, thankfully.
Berat, Cok. Musuhnya, Cok.
And there as well to make sure that he gets it in. Driver obviously not involved in the bot river skirmish, so does still have his flash, has his TP. But for the moment, KT in a really strong spot in this early game, about 1,000 gold ahead. First Drake at 6 minutes, stacking those up. And we talked about one-item spikes for KT. Having this small early game lead just accelerates you towards them even quicker. And that's why I like early dragon stacking, because you know one-item, two-item spikes is when you're fighting for that soul.
Yeah, and especially as you start to now reset for Cuz, you have to move in towards top side, clear that out, and then
swap lane tapi masih kalah match-upnya.
He's going to be in a fairly good spot. Hits level 6.
Enak banget main Rumble ya, semprot. Oke, Junja, no ward. Belum ketahuan. Belum ketahuan.
Doggo just holding away from the wave. It will be a 3v1.
Itu orang di luar lagi bikin item siapa deh?
The issue is the wave is pushing towards perfect.
Itu lagi bikin itu dia candi, Cok.
When you see those range minions stacking,
pengen ngelamar maknya
a little bit, but you're getting the XP, and eventually it will collect and come to you. So you just have to play that safe, and you can see that Peter is actually going to TP top. They're just going to TP perfect down towards bot to collect that wave. So they're moving it around. They're just doing the same thing basically that the CFO did earlier. They're going to give Doctam this stacked up wave to keep pushing him ahead to try to match this 2v2.
Akhirnya wave-nya.
He's looking like he's in a great spot.
Yeah, and also I love the defensive vision that's there for KT as well. Like they have this ward that's just sitting over towards their Grump, and it's been able to spot out like any time Hongq started to shift across, if there's some sort of dive that was there. So just already KT very aware of the type of plays that CFO like to make in these early stages to garner these leads.
For the moment, both teams willing just to accept these waves. The wave stays kind of just sitting where they are. You have a few swaps coming out. You can see Doggo. It looked like for a second perhaps he was pathing down towards bottom side, but once again just makes his way up towards top with the grubs coming up in 15 seconds. KT will have the push in mid and the push in top, so they can just play immediately for those grubs.
Yeah, the big edge is that Driver still has his TP, right? He's actually held on to that. We're perfect TP down towards bot side, so I do want to see CFO actually challenging at these grubs. They should play aggressively for them because you have that Ornn teleport, but Cuz has gotten here so early, he's likely to just be able to sneak one grub away.
Belum
and then,
kah?
honestly, as KT, you don't really care what
Udah.
happens after that.
Bikin 3 hari ini modal.
You don't have to. He's going to smite it to get the first one. KT can look to see if they want to take the fight because of the push up towards that top side. They will force Junja back.
Oh no, Junja.
Alah, kena shock. From Junja, he looks
Tapi dia udah
engaged. Second grub secured there.
3 versus 2 loh ini. Korkinya belum datang. Ice.
For some damage from the side between worlds goes Hongq. Dives into the backline with the cyclone. Already takes down one. Doggo so
Rapi
late
banget mainnya anjir, KT.
Looking for that flash cross
Iyalah,
wall and
flash.
dashes.
Driver ke
from Driver. Lands the knock up onto 2, but he's so low. Gets
Maybe.
Okay,
Driver. Okay, Driver. Okay, Driver.
And Hongq forcing another kill in.
Sakit cuk itu Ezreal anjir. Oh my god, dibully coy. Siapa?
Dissuade the enemy mid from getting on towards his backline. Cuz going in. Driver escapes. Doggo does 2. Kaiwing does 2, and somehow Hongq gets his way away. Doctam still looking for more. Hongq dodges away, and in
Bentar,
the end,
Deokdam Ezreal is kind of scary though.
1 for 1, but the problem is they're losing a lot on that bot side.
Deokdam Ezreal is pretty. What the
It
hell?
was a 5v4. Driver joined very late with the TP if he was going to actually do it.
Ezreal is kind of cracked, no?
Of the beginning of that fight. So even though there was technically the man advantage, the fight was very disjointed from CFO.
And a lot of that was perfect, chasing the Ornn out, so he actually couldn't TP for an incredibly long time. So you already get this focus on towards Junja, where KT able to try and play through this in this slow portion of the fight. But as this TP comes through, they've already gotten one. And honestly, a couple more of these skill shots landing, it could have been a very different story.
Emang gini main lawan CFO mah kelemahannya digalakin.
Misses one mystic shot there that could have actually been the kill of the Driver as he starts to step away.
Digalakin main CFO mah kayak gini emang. Harus digalakin, Cok.
And BDD on the back of this,
KT main agresif, biasanya defensif aja.
Another kill. So realistically, CFO
KT yang terkenal defensif, main agresif. Ngerinya.
Honestly, it would have been a game ender. Like they could have gotten all 3 of those kills, and then that's probably all she wrote. The game will of course go on, but still it is fantastic for KT. You're down a man, you get a grub, you get plates, you create this lead on perfect, and you get the TP off of Driver, so they're going to have TP advantage here in just a minute or 2, and I think KT are feeling super confident about their position in this game.
Managed to get 2 grubs out of it in the end as well, means that they have that feat of objective stacking at 2 of the 3 required 24 feet of strength. Next Drake in 30 seconds. Yet to see that Trinity Force for the Ezreal. I'm sure KT will be trying to funnel as much gold into him as possible to get him there before the next Drake fight. But there's a Triforce on Cuz, and on the other side, it's still mostly components apart from a Sundered Sky for Junja.
It's also, do you really want to contest this if you're CFO? Flashless on your core.
Enggak sih, Aurora dibilang lagi kurang juga enggak sih. Si Quid jago kemarin main Aurora.
I feel like this is really
Honky juga bantai-bantai pas lawan
apa
AL.
And Driver doesn't have that teleport.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question, right? Feats will also go over if you lose it, right? And losing Feats this early also feels really rough. But I agree, KT definitely has the better positioning. They have push on bot, they have push on mid. They're there
DJ's here, the second Drake. Are we gonna fight it?
Junja is around, so CFO are absolutely considering it, but it's going to be so tough to work your way in.
Basically no flashes on either side as well. There's 3 available in the game. Perfect.
Ow.
Peter and Junja, sorry, and Hongyu.
Modified kah?
Gak bisa. Taken by Cuz.
Udah, gak ada objektif. Anjir, dikejar cok.
As the flash comes in with the Winter's bite, Junja with a crescent guard, but look at the damage coming out.
No, CFO is going to lose.
They'll find 2 Junja Force low. CFO trying to respond, but Doggo and Kaiwing are forced away.
Oh no, CFO is going to lose this.
In these early skirmishes, Peter once again with the aggressive flash to set up KT for a boatload of gold off the back.
I mean, it's great for KT, but this
CFO
time,
don't get
really
cocky, come on.
CFO going for it. We talked about the setup was so much better from KT, and if you're not even going to bring down the Ornn, then how are you going to be able to actually
kena sodok
fight in a
itu
4v5
apa
with
Talia
worth
cok.
setup, with worth condition as far as your summoners and your carries are concerned as well. I mean, Ornn is top. He's not even
mereka kalau digalakin ternyata gini ya CFO ya.
Peter again just goes aggressive.
Emang harus diagresifin cok. I think KT just found how to fight CFO now. Harus digalakin mainnya.
But you're never going to win the fight out afterwards.
And now you have a 4-kill Wukong that is going to be devastating in these fights. And at this stage, you kind of get to snowball a lot of these
KT satu-satunya LCK yang berhasil ngalahin JNG di bracket stage. Jadi, they're pretty strong, bro. I don't know why people say CFO can like easily beat them.
The 3 Talon Strike can do a lot of work, but right now it's
KT tuh bisa ngalahin JNG.
1.5k behind.
Bahkan T1 aja gak bisa.
For Doggo on that Corki.
I mean, Wukong is just going to be such a problem. When Wukong gets this accelerated, all of a sudden you don't really need a lot of help to be able to threaten the backline carries. Equalizer plus Wukong is going to be more than enough to mean that Doggo and Hongyu basically can't play, right? You just drop it on their head, you fly in, and they're going to have to get out of there, if not just
people slip on
die.
KT for real, man.
Not to even mention, True Shot Barrage can come in
This
over the top. There's so many extra tools that could be there. But they just don't even need it when Wukong's just bad.
I mean, kalau dibanding sama yang lain ya, sebutin tim mana yang paling tidak stable. JNG, Top Esports sama KT. Winnable. It's not going to easy, but it's winnable.
Stop Doggo from getting the lead. Then they had defensive wards on that top side to prevent any sort of plays.
Yang mencahin win streak JNG kan T1. Itu mah di home ground.
Fantastically for KT. Off of these early
di bracket stage, kan aku bahas bracket stage.
I feel like CFO, it's been less about the play in the skirmishes.
Home ground mah itu
masih
group stage
itu. Skipping steps, they're not always having the proper setup. Even when they had the TP advantage, they weren't able to utilize it whatsoever. And when they didn't, and they shouldn't even be trying, they're going in anyway. So it just feels like they're trying to force it, and Honky's in trouble.
Using the Ghost TP comes out, and because of that, KT will disengage. They get the summoner out of drive, and that's all they're really looking for now. You can see the pings going on Rifto, and it's like, okay, we can have a man advantage on the top side. Driver has to stay bot. We reset perfect down towards this bottom side, and then we can go for that Herald. Still a long time before anything on the bot side spawns. 2 minutes on the next Drake and 5 on the Archon as Kaiwing's chunked out by Docdamp. And in the end, he will just dash across that wall.
And look at the map. No one was even moving towards top side, so that's more minions that are going to be falling here. Now Honky will get back, will TP up there, so they're going to be able to fix those wave states. But KT really happy to just take these slight advantages. Peter now has the redemption complete. You can see Blackfire Torch done there for BDD. So all of these major spikes have now come in for KT.
And you can see the consequences of Driver TPing for the save. He now has to walk up. Actually looks like we're going to have
itemnya Driver bukan itu ya, bukan Spirit Fist saja, kayak Necrocan.
Awas
Wukong.
Honkyu and BDD fighting up towards the top side.
I love this call from CFO. Sack a wave and just get yourself in river. If KT can hold these choke points, that's where they're most scary. But same goes for CFO with the combo of this Ornn and Nami wave.
Ultinya Nami harusnya sih nggak bisa diblok pakai temboknya Brown-nya.
Doggo looks like he's heading down towards bot side, so I think CFO.
Oh, kayak Nick Ruken buat ke Ezreal enak ya.
Getting him that blue buff, it looks like, and
yeah.
see if they want to try to challenge, because Perfect is just kind of pushing once again. He's just pushing on that bot side, has the TP advantage. If no one's going to answer, they're just going to get the tower.
And I think that's where CFO needed to pull the trigger faster. Now it's Driver who might get caught.
A little bit uses the Bella's breath, gets the knock up onto the Braum. Acroprism coming
Okay,
across,
nice.
down, Doggo backing in.
Aduh, Driver tipis banget cuk kalau kayak Nick Ruken emang begitu. Kayak Nick Ruken shieldnya bagus tapi tipis aja. Doggo died. Oh no, CFO is going to lose.
With an unraveled Earth through Hongju trying to get in to the back line.
Oh, Hongju is popping off.
But he's burnt where he stand. Roast rabbit for dinner for Perfect as KT once again come out on top in the fight.
Yeah, KT come
harusnya
out on
Galio
top
emang.
again. This time CFO
Driver harusnya main Galio.
There, but as he got
Tapi emang Ornn itu biasanya dipakai buat lawan.
Doggo valks in and they immediately turn
biasanya emang dipakai buat lawan Rumble sih, tapi I think he don't know to play good.
They knew it was all about the Corki in that fight. BDD has a great ult to follow it up, and we can just watch it one more time. He's just really wanting it a bit too much. It's not the right target to Falcon on.
Harusnya Spirit Visage juga sih. Kayak Nick Ruken bagus sih buat lawan Ezreal, cuma tipis banget aja. Doggo temponya dirusak early gara-gara sama si Kas.
CFO are just struggling to find that success against KT, and now we move towards the Dragon.
Honkyu gets himself a little bit of goal. Now 4 and 3 on this Aurora. Has the Andrews and a
bukan pasif, jungle pettingnya dirusak di early. Di engage 3 orang tadi pas early. Ngaruh banget gold cok.
The poke from CFO landing a little bit more. Hongju though gets the weirding onto Perfect. BDD on that
hati-hati, equalizer, gak ada ulti ya? Rumble gak ada ulti.
Back with the blast cone pushes Hongju into the face of BDD.
We need to get this dragon. Nice, Juja.
Okay, nice try. Heals up with the Sundered Sky, flashes away and somehow survives. Driver knocked back.
Thank you, Driver. Thank you for. Oh no! Anjir. Cepet banget cooldownnya, cok.
Another Peeler looking for more with the Winter's Bite, and the stun on Hongju
This is the cooldown
to get his second.
The ultimate cooldown was up ever so slightly faster for CFO, but as KT's tick down, CFO fall down with them.
Harusnya main Galio
KT,
sih.
I think just slow played that so well because they were barely missing the ultimates from Perfect and Cuz. So they didn't want to hard commit to a fight prior to that. A great smite steal from Junja does save that from being a complete
chase under the tower. Doggo falls first. The turret falling low.
Kas gila sih Wukongnya.
Taken out by the tower with Doggo's assistance, but KT in the end do find the kill. TP coming in as Driver
Kas is popping off, man.
Does have the call of the Forge God, but isn't gonna use it. Doesn't know where they are.
Is it gonna be KT trio?
CFO are trying desperately to make these plays happen, but they just cannot find the
I think it's
moments
gonna
that
be
they need.
KT
Committed
trio.
to Dragon, sure they get the steal, but losing so much again
Kas
off the back
ditukar
of
sama owner rugi aja. Literally the best jungler owner.
Ultimate cooldowns here at the bottom of your screen there for KT. This is why they are playing it slow. They want to keep them interested. They want to keep them round. Junja goes in, lands a great smite, but they know Perfect is about to have his equalizer back up. He had a fantastic ult across the entire CFO team as they're retreating, and then
BDD
his
mungkin.
Cyclone is coming back up just about now, so they know they can continue to push forward.
I've been really impressed with Perfect's Rumble ult usage throughout this tournament. He's been spectacular on it, and we're seeing it throughout this game as well. He's been catching several people out with that, even finishing off Junja at the end. And now KT, it feels like you kind of just get to dot your I's and cross your T's. Like, keep BDD in a side lane, keep up that pressure. They're going to take Riptard off the back of this, and it looks like for CFO, they're going to try and overload this bottom side of the map. Perfect can probably just, yeah, I think the wave's gone, so it's just a nothing burger.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough because
Atakan muncul.
the bright side, obviously, is that Soul isn't right around the corner. They've delayed a little bit. You can hope to maybe try to find some picks. But the downside is they don't really have a lot of ways to create explosive engages, to create that action. As long as Peter is the one face checking,
ini mah 3-0 KT kalau begini mah mainnya.
If he has people behind him, it just takes too much of their damage to be able to actually knock down this Braum.
You also just don't have the range.
Yeah.
Like, you've got a Tidal Wave and a Call of the Forge God and an Unbreakable on the other side, which is going to eat up those.
Tukar lah, Kas pernah main di T1.
I think if there is a team
performanya jelas bagus owner, kocak.
Every single time
Udah
that
owner
they
mah di
fall
T1.
behind, they will keep fighting, they will keep fishing for picks. So if KT start to get lax for a moment, that's where CFO can try and find these picks. Now, it's not easy, but definitely this is a team that will find them, but I think they're getting caught.
Alamak.
And this frontline Braum, I'm loving it.
Braum is insane.
The Oysters are falling as
knock-upnya
KT
tetap nyampe, tapi wave-nya berhenti
put
ya.
another pearl on the necklace, KT, as 2 more Oysters fall.
And Peter just blast cones himself in there. He said, we don't have a gauge. We don't have a gauge.
We
Are
got
you
one
seeing
turret.
this game? Peter is just flashing in on CD. And this time doesn't have the flash, but he has got
Peter
no
is popping
problems
off
at all.
on
My man knows
Braum.
his role.
What the
They
hell?
are snowballing. He's just going to throw himself in your face. And if you don't respond, you're just going to get wiped.
This was the first time Peter got to fly to the country, and he was like, what if I do that in-game as well? It would be perfect. And it has been
Oh no,
absolutely fantastic.
Dogo lost his
KT,
confidence.
this pick, brilliant. Peter
Dogo
sends
bakal
himself
di-humble,
on
kah?
in, and CFO are like, wait, what the hell is a Braum doing here?
Yeah, Peter is just making action happen. Every fight is a good one for the team if you've got them behind you. He's able to force it. They get those kills. They take on a
CFO.
con. And they are just pushing this advantage further and further ahead. I agree, CFO is going to keep fighting it out. They're not a team to just bleed out slowly, but it does feel like this next fight could be the death knell.
They're also a team where one game isn't indicative of how the series will
Very
go.
true.
Right, CFO, even against AL, we saw them losing, but still fighting back. The question
Guys,
is, will they get the
ini
side, or will
finalnya
they be able to
Telekom
find ways
War
to fight
kah?
back against KT? Because a lot of it can be defined
Yeah.
in draft for them, where the rest will come in instead of driver as well.
I mean, it was also true against
Is the final gonna be Telekom War?
Soul Point was up 3-4K
Bro.
in that first game against them, and they just kept
Is it?
fighting. And yeah, it did take a mistake from the other team, but they were able to capitalize on that, pull the game
Is
back.
the final
So they
Telekom
have
War?
to keep looking for these plays. You're hoping for a hero moment. Honkyu has been the only one that's been really even close in gold, it feels like, for a long time. So maybe if he can find that dream flank, you know, if Peter goes too far ahead of the rest of the team and he can get the back line, maybe you can find some sort of an angle. But it feels so hard because they have no vision. And, you know, when you're looking at the map, like, that is terrifying. You know, when you're saying, okay, you need to find this dream flank,
G2
you need to find
maksudnya,
this dream pick,
G2
you don't know
KT.
where anyone is.
Is the final gonna be
And alongside that, even
G2KT?
if you do, like, Ezreal just arcane shifts away. Like, you put down the between worlds, you try and dive onto the back line, and Dogdown just says, okay, I'm jumping over this wall. BDD, perhaps a target for them. It has that Leandri to a little bit of health as CFO trying to get some pressure in from Driver up towards this top side. Third Drake will go over to KT. CFO just trying to
KT
get
dapat
every
soul
bit of
point.
gold they can in their pockets before the Baron spawn in 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, and KT even denying that push
T1
to the
mas,
top side,
T1
even if it is with the
Sabtu.
Orin, it's just making it very difficult for
Atau Jumat
CFO
gitu.
to do anything on the map. And as you say, a minute and a half now
Mm.
until that Baron is up and available. That kind of feels like where KT will just get to blow the game open. You end up picking it up, you push in, and Doggo just able to get out of there.
Crypto comes down. As KT look for the push in mid, Weaver's wall being used as well, and CFO just forced away from defending their own objectives, their own towers. Honkyu looking for the win, they won't
goes in.
find too much more out of it as
Nah,
Peter's
hit
able to
Braum.
retreat. Tier 2 falls for KT.
Yeah, small little advantage there, but Doggo did get the cycle.
Kalau misalkan T1 kalah berarti itu pertama kalinya T1 kalah lawan LPL sepanjang sejarah di quarter final.
Small little things working in CFO's favor.
Wah, itu
They know they have some tempo
terlalu
because Braum is
besar
slow and
si
Weaver has
taruhannya.
no ult, so they're going to try to push up, see, you know, will KT
The wage is
overextend?
too
Will they
big,
make a mistake
bro.
that we can try to capitalize on? Of course, every
Taruhannya
shot is a
terlalu
long
besar
shot
itu.
from this game state, but you've got to take your chances.
Yeah, and I think CFO have been the team that have done it the best, trying to get some vision down around the Baron.
Your
25
win
seconds
streak
until that's
all
up.
this year.
Nothing too deep though, which might have given that opportunity for some sort of flank play, but KT, they're going to continue this push. And as long as they can push these waves back, it makes it difficult now for CFO to contest on the vision points that KT are going to be able to establish.
We are getting towards 2 items for CFO. Trinity Force Manamune complete for Doggo. Honkyu has the Shadow Flame Leandries. Got a Sundered Sky
Come on,
and the Black
CFO.
Cleaver. for Junja. So
It's not gonna be like this, right? Aduh, Dogo kalau udah lost confidence nih dah. Tapi ada baiknya sih. Aku rasa Dogo harus di humble sedikit. I think Dogo need to be humble a bit. I'm just saying. Maybe Peter died. Peter died. Okay.
CFO find the pick. TP
Peter
coming
died,
out from
Peter died.
perfect. Hongkyu looking for a little bit more. Cyclone from Cuz just to try and distract and dissuade the engage from CFO, but a great knockback onto Ginger means that Cuz goes on a rampage. Driver now on the retreat with the rest of the Oysters, but KT
Rumble-nya nih,
not letting them
sumpah.
escape easily.
Dogo! Oh my god, Dogo! Dogo! Dogo!
Onto that receipt. It's two so far. Driver retreats. KT still looking for more as Cuz and BDD step forward, but do they have the damage? Do they have the gap
Dogo,
closing
Sasageo,
to catch up with
anjir.
CFO?
This is exactly what we were talking about. CFO
Bijimu sebesar apa, Dogo?
their
The
moment,
hell?
a pick onto Peter. It doesn't quite get them the Baron, but it does get them some much needed gold.
It does, and I mean,
Dogo is
taking a stance
angry.
there, Valk forward flashing in. Peter gets caught over the wall, and they do not hesitate whatsoever. Junja instantly goes in. They are able to knock down Peter, and then
Dogo, big
KT is
balls,
saying, okay,
man.
we
The
maybe can still
hell?
take it in the 4v5, but look at this equalizer from Perfect. I think he's expecting that they will retreat into it, but instead it really gets nothing done. CFO doesn't know how to retreat. They're going forward.
And it works out so well because it's Doggo that you keep your eyes on here. As Duckdam goes forward, Doggo says, I'm all in as well. Flashes into the face of the Ezreal to get the kill.
Mana naik pesawat lagi Korki anjir.
There is no AD carry left to try
Korki skin cahaya Asia kapan?
And there's some big shutdowns as well.
Ditunggu Korki skin cahaya Asia.
Another ornament comes through as Driver gets some more
Anjir,
experience.
Korki
There's now
cahaya
a couple
Asia,
upgraded
cowok.
Orn items through here for CFO. Yes, they are still in a pretty big hole, but look at the damage from this dynamic duo, Hongkyu and Doggo, making it work for the team.
And as much as Doggo has been around for a while, we've seen him at MSIs. Hongkyu is the opposite. It is his rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year over in the LCP. We saw him first at MSI challenging, and now here for CFO on the international stage in a quarter-final. He's not letting the nameplates say anything to him. He is playing this game with those nameplates off.
And I just love this about CFO. I mean, this is a team that has represented the LCP at every single one of the international tournaments. And now they are sitting in quarterfinals against the LCK
Oh
third
no,
seed.
Hongkyu versus everyone
Not been
ini.
easy, but they may just be
Cuma
starting to wake up and
Wukongnya
find their
sumpah.
picks.
And something that Chalwy,
Wukongnya tiap lihat Aurora, dia sange anjir.
You can't give too much respect to the LPL.
Wukongnya tiap lihat Aurora pasti langsung dikenok Auroranya bangke
You have to make them uncomfortable. You have to get in their face and try to find these opportunities, and that's what they're going to try to do. But it's 25 seconds until a potential soul.
Oh no, Soul.
KT still very much in the driver's seat in this game. 5,500 gold ahead. Medjai is complete on BDD with 12 stacks on it, alongside a lightning jewel for that little bit extra penetration. GA complete on Cuz, so he can get onto that backline.
Ini Driver gak bisa ngorbanin diri kah buat jadi frontline. Junja bonyok anjir.
Is absolutely massive. CFO pushing through the bot side to try and get a bit of priority to get into River.
And that's the risk. If you
Soul,
end up losing
Soul,
a fight
Soul,
here, there's
Soul.
already waves
Soul.
knocking on your inhibitor. But
Aduh,
KT,
cepet banget
they
itu,
start to drag it.
Soulnya,
Make begun by KT. CFO walking into fog of
Junja.
war, and war it shall be.
Junja.
Equalizer on the backline. Driver stepping forward.
Oh no, they got Soul. It's over. It's over.
Going in their favor. A great flame spitter.
It's over.
Goes golden, but then goes pop.
Mungkin,
CFO
maybe no, maybe no,
+1.
maybe no, maybe no,
Onto
maybe no,
Driver. They'll get
maybe
one
no,
in response. Junja
maybe no.
forced away. A weirding from Hongju, but BDD's on
BDD.
Oh, the damage can't quite find it with that threaded volley. CFO being shepherded down towards his bottom side. Junja looking for the engage. Doggo dived on. Pops to the dive as well for BDD.
Alamak, kalah,
KT split
cowok.
the fight, fine 5 in the end.
KT wipes CFO
Damn.
off the map.
Damn.
They get the soul, and it feels like that will secure game 1. KT just too strong in these team fights.
Alamak. No? I would like to say no, please. Not now. やめて。やめて、そんな時間じゃないの、今。本当に。
They were cut off, they were corralled, and they were shut down. CFO, they were hoping that could be their fight, but now KT, They're not actually going to push for the inhibitors. Looks like they're looking at Baron.
Oh, you are walking.
CFO gak punya soul dan kehilangan Baron.
I feel like that was the last fight, the last realistic chance they had to get in, and KT just set it up so well. Look at Perk's position here. He slows Junja multiple times with the Electro Harpoons. Then Peter is there to keep him away. They know all we have to do is keep Junja out of the pit. They secure it. It's a great equalizer to soften them up. And even though the early moments of the fight are pretty good here from CFO, Doggo lands a great big one. They have Peter and
tapi emang biasanya gini sih kalau misalkan Hongkyu carry. Kalau misalkan Hongkyu carry biasanya siapa kalah?
From Peter putting so much threat onto Hongkyu and Doggo that bought the time KT needed to work through driver, work through that front line.
It's not working.
Where they can knock them down. Tower is falling now for KT, and it feels like that base is surely going to follow soon.
CFO, 5 players trying to
Perfect
defend
bot mainnya cu KT.
Tier 3. KT with the Baron for the next 2 minutes. Continue to push in. You can see Perfect slowly guiding a wave in that mid lane. KT would have wanted these synced up because now they have to back away. Perfect's going to start to walk his way across towards this top side. Then goes back to
this
mid.
Braum is kind of annoying though.
As well as KT would like them, but they do have a few moments here as CFO trying to defend mid.
I mean, KT's gold lead is also kind of lying to you. Dr. M's sitting on over 4,000 gold. He's not based in
He's only got 3 items.
Yeah, he hasn't bought in forever, so he's on equal items to the Corki right now.
Weaver's wall out. Tries to split the uprights and does exactly that, but CFO still able to defend again. The mid lane
itemnya sama loh Doggo sama
Then walk back towards mid. You see KT back away. Didn't have the time to reset after the Chem Soul fight. Then took the Baron, then pushed in. Didn't spend their gold, and now that Baron begins to inspire an entire Cyrildas.
I know you guys better than this.
Alongside a BF sword.
Yeah, not a bad buy. Full Cyrildas and a BF.
Like, you're really happy with it, but also you only have a minute left on the Baron. That's 2 waves left.
Absolutely.
You are still in prime position to win the game as KT. But
you guys better than this,
optimizations that could have been made over that last season.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, they've got a lot of the luxury items in there too, though. You can see almost 25 stacks on the Magi's thing, but they are running out of time on this push. We'll see. Will they try to force a dive on this next wave? Maybe just drop the equalizer to force them off the tower and crack the base.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the play. Just try and force CFO back. They don't have the Weaver's wall quite yet to sync up with it. Maybe they want to wait for the next wave, but like that's 30 seconds.
Okay, got a shot. Kas masuk. Okay, CFO. Anjir, wukongnya sakit tuh, Cok. Anjir.
Dive in with the cyclone. They find 2
Wah, sumpah si Kas.
pulled the trigger, but
was
absolutely sublime.
No, mentalnya gimana CFO?
Hongkyu can only stand and watch as
how is
KT
their
push in for the
mental?
win.
Blink and you'll miss it. KT jump onto the back line and they immediately turn
mentalnya
towards
dalam
the
bahaya
Nexus.
ini.
Hongkyu is hopping around, but there's not really much he can do in the face of 4 from KT. Cuz gives
Their
him a
mental
love
is
tap as the
yabai.
Nexus falls, and KT go 1-0 up in this quarterfinal.
It's a great start here for KT. First win
So,
on the
oke, setidaknya
board.
next game gak ada Rumble. Itu champion paling kuatnya Perfect. Main championnya Perfect udah gak ada. Harusnya next game kita bisa. Res main. Next game udah saatnya res. Gak bisa main, gak bisa gini. Gak bisa. Support harus main tank. Waktunya res. I think it's time res to play. We cannot play like this. Kayaknya Perfect cocoknya lawan res sih.
It's to see how they can take this one. And one of the questions that we had coming.
なんだよ。もうこれ大事なマッチなんだよ。勘弁してくれ本当に。ガチでめんどくせえ。
One kind of gets him into the fight. They eliminate.
Been able to attack some of the strengths that CFO had, and if you make a mistake like that versus KT, they'll punish you.
They'll punish you absolutely.
Kayaknya aku rasa Res harus main sih. I think it's time for Res to play. I think how to play Perfect. It's time to use Res.
Yeah,
Setidaknya next game gak ada rumble lagi. Itu main championnya perfect. Harusnya next game kita bisa. Sumpah Wukongnya sih. Just KT is so good. KT is so good. I think it's time we need to use rest.
We run through some of these fights again. He was so instrumental in specifically keeping Junja out of CFO's early game, which is just, again, so important
so
to
fucking
how
strong.
CFO like to play.
Yeah, and I have to say, KT in game number 1, the team is looking very well-rounded. Everybody kind of
Blind Corki sih gak banget sih.
Banning 3 mid laners versus BDD and still giving him Kalia, one of his best champs. He had some big seismic shoves. So KT looking pretty good.
Looking pretty good so far, taking game 1. I really want to see CFO fight back, though. We saw what Honky was capable of. Let's see what the whole team can do when they come on online here for game 2. We want to have a series here in this quarterfinals, so we'll be back right after this.
All right.
Gets the knock up onto the Braum. Aqua Prison coming across. Unbreakable down. Doggo Valkyrie in as Driver's forced to flash away. And KT with a TP are going to have a 5v5 in a second. Tidal Wave out. Castling that second Cyclone lands it. Doggo
CFO is...
The equalize on the backline. Nami has to flash away.
CFO need to play aggressive. I think playing like this not work on KT.
To get in to the backline to get damage on Peter. He'll find one, but he's burnt where he stand. Roast grab it for dinner for Perfect as KT once again.
Push them. Are we back? I think we are back. No? Yeah, we're back. Internetnya dibegal. Untung match udah kelar ya. Coba tadi tengah-tengah match aja, bete banget. Tapi tadi pas tengah-tengah match juga nge-lag kayaknya sih. Ya udahlah. Namanya juga hidup ya. Ya udah sih. Namanya juga wifi Indo.
The future of money is here. Feels good.
Pakai di rumah kah? Enggak.
Your setup wants Opera GX, and you're holding it back.
Gue hypnotis lihat yang muter-muter ya. Apa? Gue capek tinggal di Indo, real bro.
You are going to see them like you've never seen them before. It will as the Arcane Storm doing so much work in Genji. They are just going to ace them.
누굴 만나도 이길 수 있다는 자신감 정도로만 생각하고
Esport World Cup pasti lama trailernya udah ada ya. Kayaknya Esport World Cup digabung aja deh sama MSI. Kasian ininya, kasian playernya. Iya, sama ada iklan Wild Trip sekarang. Iya, pas hujan badai lancar anjir wifi-nya. Aneh, cok. Wild Trip is back? I think Wild Trip is back.
Every moment of your journey, crystal clear. Landscapes, absolutely stunning. Close-ups, sharp and full of vibe. Group shots, packed with detail. Zoom in on one face, still flawless. Colors so real, every scene, every smile, unforgettable. Oppo, find X9 series, Hasselblad telephoto.
Icons is back? Maybe.
Hi, got this old thing and the bill from the store where I got it. Figured you could beat it with a better deal on one of these big boys.
It doesn't work that way.
Guess you're not as cool as Verizon.
Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill for a better deal.
You don't know that?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Red Bull give you wing. 1-0. Ya, setidaknya next game gak ada Rumble sih. I think CFO need something. Aku nggak yakin Dogo bisa main Draven sih kalau misalkan kayak gini sih mentalnya. Dogo is pretty tilted last game, not gonna lie. Udah liat leaknya Zahen kah? Kecewa berat. Kenapa emang? Baru sadar pro player Korea yang aktif cuma 2 world selain T1 cuma Rolled Beryl. Real bro, Beryl is him. Malam admin kembali ke setelan pabrik. Yoi. Lord Beryl World 1 sama ADG ya? Di plus Kia dia, bukan ADG. Damwon terus DRX. Lupa biasa aku main Suika game.
Be Mbessa. Oh, Sion is also up. So if you ban
Yeah.
away the Sion, then
Bro,
you then look
time
towards
skip.
the Oreo trade or
I just
CFO.
kind of saw that as like a guarantee.
Yeah.
Because to me, that it's like, if
King
you don't ban
Crimson.
Sion here, then CFO
Okay,
just went out because you just pair Ori or Azir with the Sion and you're
King
laughing.
Crimson.
Because you also got the opportunity to take the Trundle though as well.
Ambil
So what I'm
saben kopi
kind of
dan.
curious
Okay,
is,
CFO
do you
blue
end up like
side.
first picking Trundle, thinking, oh, we deny the Sion on the
Ayo
opposite
main
side.
apa
We're
kita
happy to take
CFO.
either the Ori or the Zir in the
First
next
pick.
one, but there's
Oke, Res
Sion,
main.
so
Aku
it
rasa
doesn't really
cocok
matter. I
sih.
think still
Aku rasa emang
Azir
Res
for me
cocoknya
has
ketemu
been the
perfect sih,
more
bukan
impactful
driver.
one in a lot of these
Apa
situations.
terkadang
We'll have to see if that's
terkadang
the loss,
match
CFO
itu
will take
ada
it as well.
ada
And it
matchup
looks like it
yang
will.
cocok gak cocok gitu.
See that Azir likely locked in for
Nah.
home Q.
Oke.
See, has put it already.
CFO mungkin dapat Azir.
You just go Orianna
CFO
plus
mungkin dapat
something
Azir.
in the jungle that can engage
Tapi
your oven, something that,
sisi buruk
although it
dapat
started
Azir
the
adalah
tournament
kamu
really
gak boleh
poorly,
kalah.
has
Kalau
begun
misalkan dapat
quite
Azir
easy
kalah, udah. Aku rasa CFO 3-0. Kalau misalkan Azirnya kalah.
going into the quarterfinals. So there's the Azir. KT can also leave the Orianna for 3.
Oriented pick.
Dapat Azir harus menang BTW. Oriananya tuh di ban, tapi ban Poppy sih.
I also just really love KT making sure BDD and Cuz have good champions, because so often they are
Ziggs
the
kali ya.
drivers of this team. They are the
Dogo
engineers
Ziggs
of this team, and everyone else has stepped up.
Cek,
But when
ini
you're looking at CFO,
ban
you
semua
look at
ADC agro,
in
ban
the
semua
sort of
ADC
same
agro
vein.
terus
They're the
main Ziggs
people
gitu.
that need to get
Yang sih.
ahead. Cuz and BDD on picks that are strong, that have good early games, you know you can kind of negate some of CFO's power.
This is kind of interesting. So they are going to go for the Trundle. Obviously, you can do it pretty well, against this Jarvan. So they're taking the Trundle and the Cassante here.
It feels like a Rek'Sai angle, no?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's kind of the anticipation is they're saying you're going to go Rek'Sai and Trundle's going to get value because you are going to have an HP stacker on the top side.
I think it also pictures what KT can do here, because ideally you would like to go for some sort of AD carry like the Kai'Sa, right? But with
sudah muak dengan wifi ko.
you're going to see probably things like the Caitlyn and the Kai'Sa band, maybe even something like the Xayah. It just means that then you don't really have that safe backline at the moment. That could open up for things like the Cassante to get a lot of value.
Biasanya Ziggs enak sih. Soalnya attack speednya Azir udah cukup harusnya buat DPS.
Looking at going, okay, what's the AD carry pool going to look like with these bans?
Yeah, and I do feel like when you're banning out the Bard, you are saying, hey, I want to play like a low mobility AD carry, you know, over on this side. Ori's also something that can be quite susceptible to that Bard, so are trying to protect some of these carries. Nico will remain on the bans in this second round.
Ziggs enak sih nih, Ziggs ada sih.
Doggo's Draven, which I do think makes sense. To me, the core
Doggo
Draven
di ban.
that really have stood out for him so far here at Worlds. So they are going to try to eliminate.
Belum bayar kali. Aku udah bayar.
They're trying to get rid of some of those big AoE engages to follow up with the Orianna and the Jarvan.
I am slightly surprised because I think when you have Azir, Alistar still up on the board as well, I think you've got options to try and play in towards the Nico without her having like that full big threat. But obviously just nervous about it. There's the Varus.
Ini Apelios kan Dogo biasanya malah pick Apelios.
Dive threat on KT side.
Dogo adalah tipe orang yang akan pick Apelios.
On a Braum as an engaged
on random
getting
day.
rid of something that engages a lot easier makes a lot of sense to me.
I actually like this a lot, just going Sivir.
I think Ziggs is pretty good here. Sumpah sempurna banget Ziggs kata gua mah. Ziggs is perfect here. How was it, Dogo?
To focus on the solo lanes here.
Tuh kan make Apelios, sumpah.
And if they go Aphelios, like we could just get Aphelios Lulu and they could go kind of like a full scaling type thing if they wanted. But of course you can just do a standard engage pairing alongside it as well.
It is Doggo's most played champion and the champion he made his name on in Beyond Gaming, but it's actually Kai'Sa that he swaps over to at the last second.
A little bit of dive can reposition in teamfights as well, which is something Kai'Sa does well. If the Jarvan jumps on you, you get some of that plasma stacks, and then you can dive across with the killer instincts.
And people always like to talk about this matchup
sure.
as like, Kai'Sa can beat the Sivir on the 1v1, but I always kind of feel like Sivir just negates the matchup by just pushing in and
she
just
never takes the fight.
Exactly. So that's kind of my issue with it.
Kai'Sa ini enak lawan Orianna, lawan Renekton sama ini Jarvan.
I feel like Renata and
sebenarnya Sivir sih enaknya sih.
Lulu also sick here, honestly.
Ini Sivir enak di sini cuma Sivirnya dipakai sama Diabdam.
In this sort of situation, you're repositioning into something like the Renekton or into the Jarvan.
Merem apa dah agak boing-boing?
As well on the Renekton means I don't think you're going to get
a huge amount of value
from the killer instinct on the Kai'Sa. I would have probably preferred a bit more of a front-to-back team fighter than this Kai'Sa, but Nautilus actually going to be the pick in the end.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of more standard. That's kind of the LCK style, even if some of these enchanters, you know, are strong in certain situations. This does give them
Nautilus
so much engage,
itu ya.
so much scaling. It just feels like KT have drafted pretty much 4-5v5.
Bang boleh OP gak? Tidak. Tidak di quarter final
Dogo.
Dogo.
Really attack any lane. It does feel like.
We're not doing Aphelios.
On the other side for CFO, you do have some great scaling here with the Azir, but I'm worried about.
Guys, aku akan menggunakan kekuatannya King Crimson.
Like, if you don't have
King Crimson.
I'm gonna have to win World Finals quick.
More than that.
Okay. You passed. You passed. See?
It's 13, right?
At least 6.
13, yeah. 13
At least 6. I'm with you.
We'll see if they can do it as we get our way onto the stage for
Yeah, I like this. We can do this. Come on. CFO, let's
go. It would be really interesting for KT to go.
Apa ini, Cok?
For KT to go 3-0 versus Genji.
Kayak gitu mainnya, Cok. Keroyokan.
That's just what a great end to your series.
Gak bisa, jangan. Just do normal pating.
As a bean, as a whole.
The roller coaster at some point can't keep ratcheting up. There has to be a drop.
It depends how you want the roller coaster to end.
Oh no.
Paradise. Oh no. Off, you know?
True.
Then there's no gravity. Then the roller coaster could
Alamak, kena.
Great hook from Peter.
No flash.
Ginger forces him to flash
away. Tuh, ini kalau udah gini udah ini Trundle ketinggalan nih goldnya. Cuk, mainnya kayak gitu KT aja. Dibikin gak maju dia, Cok.
Then you can try and turn around as the Trundle, but you're going to be able to get value as Cuz and have a flash to try and escape. So it does open up Cuz, at least for the next 5 minutes, to try and make some early plays. But realistically, we have seen junglers just going for these full clears consistently. So how much KT are going to be able to find success in the lanes in the early stages still waits to be seen.
And you gotta take your eyes up towards that top lane, as it is gonna be a lane swap up here. It is gonna be
CFO kayak kelemahannya digalakin deh. Gawat ini kalau misalkan abis ini kedepannya kalau ketahuan kayak gini sih gak bisa sih CFO. Kalau ketahuan gini kelemahannya langsung wah.
To really be able to get as much of this farm as possible. Also just get as much experience as possible onto that Cassante. Not very easy to force him away in the early game as Hongkyu and BDG just trading here in the mid lane. Perfect. You should be okay on the next, and you've got the Cold and Meek to heal yourself up a little bit. You've got the Slice and Dice hits level 2. There's always the threat of a Slice Ruthless Predator Jarb and gank.
Yeah, there really is, and I do think, BDD in trouble.
Maybe Hongkyu? Heal.
Around the corner. Can't be sure where Cuz is right now as Hongkyu, so you have to just be that little bit more cautious.
Oh no, Hongkyu. He's on the
way.
He's going to die.
Peter will
Nge-flash nih.
Look for the flash underneath the tower, but it's
Okay, Hongkyu. Okay, Hongkyu just him.
Between the Nort and the Azir.
Aduh flash.
This is the heal for him as well.
Ngeri, bro.
Now BDD's gonna flash just to kill Kaiwing. Flash heal wasn't enough.
Kena bait.
Hongkyu perhaps a little greedy staying around.
They
Oriana punya
to
flash.
play with Kaiwing matching the roam, but a little bit too late.
Peter.
And BDD with the first blood.
Peter.
Yeah, I want to see, did Kaiwing Seal actually hit on Hongkyu, or was it
Peter is so good.
Too late.
I thought it was too late watching it live there, which is definitely tough. Peter
Kena
already
emot
forcing out the flash on the Trundle very early, and now Kaiwing trying to do what he can, hold this wave.
Peter rotasinya cepet banget anjir.
Cuz flash, flag and drag from Cuz just wide. A hook lands onto a minion. And Peter unable to find his connection there.
And Hongkyu held onto his TP because Kaiwing was freezing the wave. He didn't actually have to TP back, so that is nice for him. But look over on the other side.
Iya, tapi tengilnya sama juga kayak Vector Hongkyu.
Dagger and no pots. So even just that little bit of damage is that much closer to sending him back to base once again.
Tengilnya sama.
This pressure that Peter put on is so effective.
Now Rest with the wave pushing away from him, getting forced out of this bot lane. A couple of minions will die to the tower, but Katie should be able to catch him. Pillar down, slice away. Perfect.
Ngegeng. Orang kok bisa main Trundle ya? Ngegeng susah pakai Trundle aja. Kalau belum jadi Trinity Force, harus jadi Trinity Force dulu baru bisa ngegeng the present.
That we really begin to
Susah
see
banget
BDD living up to that
itu
idol status he talked about in the teaser for the video.
I mean, that's tough. You know, thankfully, like I said, he was able to hold on to TP because Kaiwing froze, so he's going to go back, but his buy is going to be terrible, right? Like, maybe he's just going to get a refillable in a ward or something. I don't think he's going to have too much gold. So he's going to be able to upgrade the dagger, but does he even have potions on top? Is he really going back with no potions again? Yeah, okay.
Just gets himself a recurve boat.
BDD should be able to match the reset here as well with it being a cannon wave. Hongkyu trying to freeze because
Hongkyu no flash.
You can't do that. Like, you can't just be taking the minions.
The wave is so far away as well. Even the shield from the Azir E isn't going to be enough. And the wave will crash in. BDD on his way back out with an amplifying tome.
Nggak tahu lagi bikin apa anjir. Mana berisik, internet nge-lag.
And right now, Katie's early game, this series actually has really leveled up from where it's been so far. Peter, Hex splashing onto Rest, looking for the auto attack here. We'll get the dredge line in. As the Pathmaker out from Rest again gets him to safety. Really nice buffer there. You buffer the auto and then you dredge line in the middle of it to cancel the animation.
But you're just going to continue to get this wave frozen on you. So Rest's going to have to reset. And I think at this stage, CFO have to accept they're going to match towards standard lanes if they hope to have a chance. Because Croc in the top side has frozen the wave. Now gets the TP back in. And KT again dominating through this lane phase.
Exactly. I mean, it's double frozen waves. Both your side lanes are frozen against you. You have to TP just to try to push it out. And your mid lane is kind of getting crushed right now after that early pressure, so it's triple losing lanes for CFO.
Di bawah situ.
This is not what I like for CFO.
Gedung sebelah malah kayak itu. Gedung sebelah. Kedengeran sampai sini anjir.
Flash freeze as well because Junja having burnt that flash earlier means that he's not really able to get involved in the lanes for fear that Cuz ends up matching.
Tapi biasanya sampai jam 4 sih, jam 4 udah itu.
Doing so well off that early pressure, and now you start to look at Dragon's up and available. We start to look at the rotation.
Kena hooknya.
On to Doggo, grand entrance coming out from Kaiwing. Battle dance for a little
bit of shield. Peter kenapa hari ini anjir?
If you want to get the drop on your opponents,
Peter
like Peter just
pengen
got the
menang
drop
World
on
Buds ya.
CFO. Remember, log into your Riot account on lollysports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes, icons, and capsules whenever you
Gedungnya
can.
cuma sebelah
Close look
dipotong.
at the style on CFO on this bottom side here.
Awas itu bentar lagi level 6 Jarvan.
Coming through from Peter to make sure he can get down here. And I think they just go for the dragon. They've got the push in that bottom lane. BDD in a great spot in mid. They don't
It's
need
not
much
good,
more.
CFO. It's not good.
They're looking like they're in an incredible spot. Judge is moving
Jam
down
4
this
CFO juga udah pulang deh, bangke.
He's just gonna have to probably give it up. Is moving over there though.
Menang
I feel
ini
like this would be
CFO,
such a tough approach for the Trundle. I mean, Peter's already in position to try to jump on him.
Doctam just hit 6 as well. Dressline in from Peter. Ginger here. Look, see if he can find a pillar, but you don't really want to take this fight. You're at a disadvantage in terms of ultimates, and KT will just secure their first Drake again, around that 7-minute mark. It's really early.
Kayaknya kita udah harus pakai tank tebal deh di bot lane. Can Kaiwing play like Leona or something?
Hoping that they can find those fights later on. And
Kalau si Junjia suruh front line dulu, gini jatuhnya nih.
very well into the game, but at the moment,
Menurut lo pengganti Peanut di Hano Alex siapa bang?
I think Peter has just played
Bisa
an
jadi
excellent game, right? He's
kasih.
starting great from the level 1. Even his positioning here around that dragon, playing in the banana brush, not allowing Junja to ever find an opportunity to
Bisa jadi
contest here
kas.
realistically, and just going to continue playing towards his strength. He knows
Atau
you're gonna
mungkin
win the
Kanafi
2v2s with
dibeli
BDD,
sama Hanwa,
so just keep
harusnya
moving
sih
here, keep
bisa.
enabling BDD to play from this position of
Kanafi
power. Look
Hanwa.
at Honkyu, he's just, every time he steps forward, it's command attack, it's dissonance, it's just chunk after chunk after chunk onto Honkyu that is making his life miserable.
I think Peter's just had a really good series so far, really good world so far. You could see signs of it when he was on Nongshim, like there were
balik ke
signs
Korea.
of what he could become, but here on KT really has leveled up. Now in his first international, his first worlds, we're seeing exactly what this guy can do.
And what a lovable player he is. I mean, this is his first time, flying.
Wah, objektif kagak dikasih sama sekali, Wak, sama KT, Cok.
Just a treat. Great hook.
Peter ini sumpah loh.
Junja's going to put the subjugate down, flash forward from Perfect. Death charge onto Honkyu as well, but Junja already put in the dirt. The Troll King
Peter
is
MVP
down.
sih, sumpah sih, Peter.
Forced away. Should be 3 grubs to KT. No smite
This
for
Peter
CFO.
guy is
Doggo's moving
annoying.
across, but actually looks like KT are happy enough just taking the 2. They'll let this grub reset. Cuz can
No,
just
they
wait
want
around.
trade,
So,
they
okay,
want trade.
Smite's going to come back up in a couple of seconds' time. KT will get the 3rd.
Yeah, the longer CFO contest here, the more they're losing on that bottom side. That's a wave that's completely gone, and Junja has just had 0 chance to have an impact in this game. He's been completely shut down by
Kena
KT.
dia parah,
It's just a
Junja.
great start again to the fight here from KT. As CFO kind of try to do this late contest, it's similar to the problems they had in the
Kenapa
first
Junja
game.
ambil Trundle ya?
Even when you have the main
Gak
advantage,
tahu,
they're not
aku
actually
gak pernah
utilizing it
suka
because
pick
Junja
Trundle.
goes so early. By the time Doggo is moving
Gankingnya
up,
lama,
he's
harus
already
jadi
cooked.
satu
And then you're
item.
just giving Dogtam the ability to push out the wave, deny those
udah pasti
minions, take a reset,
telat
right back down
gengingnya.
towards bot lane. And the Sivir is just chilling throughout all of this, and you still walked away with triple grubs.
Yeah, just overall, Casey's early game really isolating the strengths of CFO and making them into weaknesses. Like Junja on this Trundle is behind on farm to a Jarvan. That's just not something you too commonly see in the early game. They haven't been able to find pressure in the lanes. The early lane swap from KT really solid as they were able to make sure that Rest and Doggo were forced
Kalau
behind.
musuhnya banyak tank sih
it's
enak
not
sih.
even 10 minutes, we're 1.6k ahead.
Cuma-
Everyone on KT has an
Cuma
advantage.
2
We'll
tanknya.
see if Junja can try to make any
Jarvan
sort of
juga
a
bukan
gank
tank
happen.
banget.
You just feel like you need to make some sort of a move, but
Kalau
I don't see a world in
lawan
which Perfect dies here.
kalau lawan
Back to come
Rakan
up,
sih
fall
enak
down
ya.
for that extra health on Topos. We'll get the knockback. Junja
Kan 3-0 sih.
the pillar, in fact.
Kalau
Just
gini
not playing
terus
the
mah
Jarvan.
siapa?
Does get the pillar down with a slice and dice out from Perfect. Now has the Dominus in 1 second's time, and CFO won't look for a further dive.
I was going to say, there's a very slim window that they were looking to play on, and now Perfect is going to be completely fine. Resets, are going to be able to open up back on that top side, and you're not getting any sort of advantages through this.
CFO
KT
pulang kah?
continue to move
3-0.
their Jarvan up towards his top side. They can now look to support Perfect as he shows this
Sedih
out.
sedih
It's just great stuff.
cowok.
And I mean, you know that that Trundle is up on the top
Tapi kalau
side. And just
misalkan
look at all the
KT
vision that
mainnya
they're getting.
selevel
They're
ini
down in this
bisa sih
bottom
menang
side
lawan
area.
Genji sih.
There's so many wards that they're actually placing
Sumpah
in
si
the
Kas
enemy
jauh
jungle
lebih
here.
jago daripada
They have
Peanut
all
aja.
the info, right? You knew that Junja was up on the top side. You go in on the bot side. You place all these wards. You have full river control as well. You know, when you're behind, you're saying, "Jungler, please save me, bail me out, get a kill."
KT bisa
But,
sih ngalahin
they
Genji
know
sih
where
kalau
he is.
levelnya
They
kayak
got
gini sih.
Madmax.
Really nicely played from KT in this early game. For CFO,
Mengorbankan rambutku tidak. Rambutku hanya untuk Genji. Jitu.
There's the Empress Divide onto BDD.
Rambutku hanya untuk Jitu.
And that is a summoner down for the KT mid.
And something that could be exploitable. 45 seconds until the Dragon.
Udah bang, si Kacang udah
Could end up
pensi.
looking for
Iya
him,
nih.
especially with someone like Highway.
Kasian Bang
But there we
Kacang.
go!
Alamak!
Charge! They get the knock off. The quickness comes out, but it's not in time.
Cuk, si Peter jago banget anjir.
The kill, calling Captain Hook.
Sumpah si Peter.
Sending Hongkyu to Neverland.
And he's always there first.
Peter is what the hell?
A little bit too late and saving his mid laner. And it's Peter that are making things happen for KT.
Coba si Peter MVP nih cu. Support div anjir.
Now you knock the mid laner down. Kaiwing spent his ult. Cuz is behind Doggo.
Oh, Doggo.
Support
Is your
div.
bark worse than your bite? It seems like it flashes away. Gets away with the kill
Okay,
as
Doggo.
well with the TP coming
Pretty
out. Doggo
good.
able to survive. KT, I mean, they back away. No one goes below half HP. They'll be happy enough. They get the flash and that killer instinct out.
Yeah, I mean, it's smooth moves from Doggo to survive in the 1v3, but at the end of the day, as you
Oh
say,
my
that's
God.
teleport, that's flash, that's ult, and your defensive highlight is just staying alive while KT is going to
Dewa
start
bukan
the
itu
dragon
normal
and say,
Nautilus
"Good
ya,
luck
not rank
fighting
gua
us
begitu
now."
kok.
Your AD has
Gak bisa
And
gitu bro.
plates in mid lane because you had to shift the Azir down to that bottom
Beda,
side,
beda.
which means BDD is opening up this game even further.
Jangan disamain
in his
sama
favor.
solo
With
queue
that
aja.
first item already completed, it is still KT winning.
And it's feats. 12 minutes in, 3 objectives to none, 3 kills to none. And you've already got the upgraded boots coming out, the Ionian cooldown boots for BDD being upgraded. They're going to set up around this red buff. Do CFO
Don't do it,
know?
Junja.
No. Oh, Junja.
Oh no.
He starts up the red there.
Kena lagi, astaga. Oh
In the
shit.
jungle, sent to an early grave. A 4th for KT, they ruled the rift.
I mean, this is just the vision playing off of that. They have been controlling this jungle so incredibly well. And now that they have the lead, they're just snowballing it out of control.
They've got
Peter's
depth charge here.
Exactly, he's just going to go right down. He's going to get stopped. You just flag it.
Gak bisa ini Junja satu item juga belum jadi anjir.
What are you going to do, Hongkyu? Depth charge down. They'll look for the engage, a cataclysm.
Wah kalah ini, kalah.
It's a shellacking.
Kalah Sevo, gak bisa gap
They're
banget.
shocking these oysters everywhere on the map.
I mean, it's picture perfect, but it's an ugly picture
Support
if you're a
div.
CFO fan because
Support
KT
div.
are making
Support
game
div,
2
sumpah.
look like an absolute breeze, and it's all been
Support div,
around
gak bisa,
this
gak
play
bisa.
with BDD. Constantly
Jauh
going
banget
towards
div.
mid lane, getting involved with him, unlocking their player here to move around the map to really get control.
Bro, this is
BDD
sad.
has been such a star for this team all year long.
Rest and Doggo looking for this.
Wah, Doggo
Flash
marah,
away
Cuk.
from perfect TP in from KT, and they just don't have the damage to work their way through that Renekton.
Great flash from Perfect.
Doggo
predicting
tilting,
that Rest
nggak
was
bisa,
gonna
udah
look
kalah kayaknya.
for that Q slow, and maybe that gives the Kai'Sa enough time to get the auto attacks down to take down the Renekton. But again, it's CFO hoping and praying that they can make these plays work, but KT happy to match. You still get BDD pushing in that wave. No one going to be able to answer for it. You're losing out on the map. Duck down, pushing in the mid lane. It's
Oke, ini
KT
value-nya Azir, side
getting
lane
map
push.
presence constantly.
Exactly. And I mean, when you're
Ya,
playing
Doggo
against a team
Doggo
like this
gak
that has
Doggo
that
harus
much
play
wave
push sih,
clear,
gak
that
bisa sih.
much
Fight-nya
pressure,
kalah, Cok.
and you're behind, you have to overload one side
Si
to try to
Peternya
make a play.
serem
You're
banget,
always
anjir.
gonna pay for it, right? Because Sivir is just infinitely one-shotting the waves with Essence Reaver. BDD is going to one-shot any waves that come his way, and they have triple grubs. So you lose so much tower damage every single time you have one of these failed plays. And I mean, they did get the flash out perfect. That's nice, but they didn't even force the ult.
But it's so well orchestrated by KT. It's knock out Junja by kicking out one of the legs, then go for the lanes because
Ini yang
Junja's
bingung
then
kenapa aku
behind,
bilang
and it
Nautilus
makes it so
jago.
difficult
Coba
for
kalian
CFO
lihat player
to
Nautilus yang
answer
lain deh,
for any of these
kayak
plays
Mickey
because
X.
they are always at a man disadvantage.
And who is it for KT that's getting fed out of this early
Coba
game?
bandingin
It's
Peter sama
BDD
Mickey
in
X.
that mid lane.
Terus
Two
kalian ngerti
pair
kenapa aku
heads
bilang
involved
Peter
in
jago.
every single kill. The synergy between him and Peter through this game, through this world, has been
You guys will
absolutely
understand.
top notch. This guy is popping off, and for so long, I think people will have looked at BDD as one of the greats, but not quite. Perhaps at this Worlds, he can really take that step to the upper echelons.
Yeah, the only man on this team who's been to that semi-final, hoping to take the rest of them there and the organization for the first time, but it's Rest who needs to get out of here.
Lihat tuh, semua fake ada dia. Semua fake ada itu Nautilus.
Going wide, but it's just going to be another tower for KT. They know they can force Rest away, take the turret, their second of the game, and CFO have been able to stop the perfect game from happening by taking a tower of their own. But apart from that, KT very much on their way to a clean
Tiap
sweep.
war ada itu Nautilus, sumpah.
Objective bounties have spawned. You kind of hope that you can do some cross mapping, pick up some gold to come
Yosi
back in.
Kanwa.
But when objective bounties are spawning at 15 minutes,
Yosi kayak harganya turun sih
it is
semenjak
going to be an uphill
masuk.
battle to say the very least.
Yeah, and you already highlighted the
Apa nih?
wave clear.
Di
It's Rift Herald now as well. So you were already losing on the map. Now you doubly lose on the map. But Perfect might lose this.
Pillar coming out. There's a killer instinct as well with the quickness. Everything
Nice. Bisa. Satu. Come on.
For CFO and a
Tempo.
of life into this game.
Imperfect, not going to be able to get away with that one. We'll see what they can get off the back of it here. Heading down towards this bot side, seeing if they can make a play or at the very least control some vision. They have to have all of the kind of vision past that line of scrimmage, in the mid lane and through that river. So there's no more vision in their jungle. They really are hoping to not give up a super early soul point. When you're this kind of a dive comp, yes, there is an Azir, yes, you have some damage there, but you really do not want to be giving over a Mountain Soul.
They did get the pick, but Junja went to do his Krugs, and you don't really get that
Harga
push
turun
in
tapi
mid
tertarik beli
because
Pyosik, alasannya
both
punya
Hongyu
sejarah.
and Kaiwing went to try and set up that vision on the bottom
Nah,
side. So
I don't think Hanwha will buy
able to
Pyosik.
answer back because of that reset.
Paling kan Afi atau Kas.
Is on his way across on the hunt, popped by
Pyosik mentok-mentok ke di RX lagi paling.
Dodged by the
Dogo die.
not in the redemption in time. CFO lose their mid lane.
Cuk, itu Nautilusnya sumpah.
Chased down by KT. Junja on the flank of 4v4 begins to erupt. It's perfect. Not TPing down yet. The redemption for KT will top them up. And in the end, they just back away.
CFO are asking, why are KT better? And it's just cause the hop over the Emperor's Divide sets up beautifully.
Gak Azirnya Hongyu tuh gak separah ini aslinya.
I mean, that was
gara-gara di gap sama support jebat aja.
daring you to dash away, right? He's holding the Cataclysm, he's holding the Flag and Drag. He's ready to punish at a moment's notice. Perfect reaction time there.
Shit,
to
KT gonna win.
That Azir ultimate. They win
KT
out in
gonna
the
win.
4v4. Perfect doesn't have to even bother teleporting down. They get the Dragon there at soul point. 18 minutes into the game.
Kalau misalkan pakai Azir gak menang udah sih. Picknya gak ada lagi sih.
When you look at a composition like this, that's Orianna Sivir, you're thinking, all right,
Champion poolnya si Hongyu, Aurora sama Azir udah gak ada. Tinggal Akali. Next game tinggal Akali.
Continue to press.
Wah, gimana anjir?
Pressure up. CFO looking for those objective bounties you talked about.
Azir sama Aurora udah hilang. Sisa Akali. Wah. Shit. Hongyu, you're cooked, man.
The only player with a gold lead for CFO. And if you're going to put a gold lead on anyone, Doggo, so far this tournament's been the guy you want to put it on. Constantly impressing, but it's going to be a very long road back
Tiger itu
for
Hanwha
CFO
Live ya? Member mereka siapa aja kayak? Beda. Yang Rock Tiger cuma si Peanut doang.
This is the heart and soul of a
Hanwha Live
region,
ya,
a team
Hanwha
that
Live.
has defied expectations and made a name for themselves. And although they haven't been able to show what they're capable of in this series thus far, I think CFO have really shown that they are a team that you need to keep your eyes on at Worlds 2025 and honestly at MSIs as well. This is a roster that has continued
52 orang meremehkan KT. Tidak, Junja. Kena lagi ultinya. Alamak.
But he's taken out by Dockdown. One down so far. KT can advance. Oh, a great hook again. Peter, what are you?
Bro, Peter is not human. Like, literally. That Nautilus is not human.
Diving in for a Ruthless Predator. The Rift Herald charge coming down. Will they look for a tier 3?
Peter is not human. I'm sorry, but what the fuck?
And then Peter should be able to dredge line his way away.
And they can even go right
Peter
back
is
to the
not human. Peter is not human. What the hell is this, Peter?
Put that pressure on. They're going to take away the jungle camps. They get the charge on another tower. It's 6k up, and yeah, they're just going to do Otacon on spawn again, because why not? Hongyu has no teleport.
Peter is not human. Bro, sumpah.
Doggo gets the shutdown. Cards perfect and BDD still alive.
Okay,
They'll still be able to kill off Kaiwing. Hongyu and Junja need to do it all. But Hongyu doesn't have the damage. Only Anash is then a
tilting. Gak bisa. Hongyu juga bingung ini mau ngapain.
Again, Doggo risked it all for CFO, but it falls
short. Kalau udah gini mentalnya berantakan anjir. Makro is get out from the window kalau udah kayak gini. Kalau mental lagi berantakan, makro keluar dari otak, sumpah. Udah bukan saatnya mikirin makro lagi, panik ini. Tapi Dogo shutdown sih. Dogo shutdown, nice. Dogo is cooking.
But the problem is, BDD is 3,000 gold ahead, and he is still alive, still fighting there. So even with Dockdown falling, I mean, just look at the
mentalnya kalau berantakan gini susah lah.
4.9k between the two.
Ditutor sama
The
BDD.
Archon has been begun by KT. CFO still looking for it. They have the Emperor's Divide if they can find a way into this fight.
Mungkin.
Hongkyu goes in, BDD pops a stopwatch.
Oke.
Kaiwing with a good quickness finds
Atakannya
through with a
diambil.
knock-up, but CFO now need to disengage. All their engage tools have been used.
Astaga, si
Cut's
Firya
diving
pergi.
onto that backline. Cut's taken out by Doggo.
Oke Dogo, oke Dogo, oke Dogo. Mati anjir, alamak.
The cage is at puts him back to the fountain. Only Hongkyu left alive. As perfect
inikah sepuh.
There's nowhere to run. There is nowhere
Inikah
to hide.
kekuatan sepuh.
KT are taking everything.
Inikah
on this
kekuatan
map.
sepuh.
And CFO.
So this is the power of sepuh, huh?
They don't know how they're supposed to crack
Damn.
this.
I mean, I don't think you're cracking this game, man. It is an absolute stomp here as KT, again, know they're just at such an advantageous position.
Ini kekuatan
Perfect just go
sepuh
straight
kah?
in on the Nautilus. On the other side, it's Hongkyu and Kaiwing trying to find this flanking angle, but they use the redemption for the reset and then just send Cuz in. A great stun and bit of CC there to allow Doggo to finish him off, but Perfect is just too strong. No one's there to actually peel for Doggo. And again, there's just too many threats on the KT side. They're too
panik
rich.
dia, panik, kena humble.
Doggo as well to try and escape away, so gets caught by the Croc. And it's his swamp right
Kena
now.
humble, kena humble.
The Dragon is up in 20
Volta,
seconds. This
thank
is
you for joining
mountain
membership
zone,
again.
And it's already been
41
impossible
mon.
for CFO to
Wow.
break KT.
I mean, this is going to be the last gasp you have to
Berarti
kind of
berapa
think for
bulan lagi
CFO.
tuh?
It's win this fight. It's stop this soul from going over. Or you
Ditonton lu kayak makanya kalah, kagak anjir.
They already have
Masa karena
so
ditonton?
much power here. Red buff and blue buff just got picked up. And they are going to be waiting for CFO to go forward.
Inikah sepuh LCK.
Doggo the only one really with 2 items that
So this is
matter
the power
for
of sepuh LCK.
As they
CFO
try and
look like a
step into the
clown.
darkness, into that fog of war. The Dragon resets, rest, using his health bar to try and gain purchase in the river right now.
Dukung siapa
KT
kayak?
keeping them at
Ya
arm's
dukung
length. Rest
CFO
still
lah,
stepping
bro.
forward. The Drake how low 7k. Kaiwing flashes for BDD, lands the
Kaiwing
quickness
masuk,
and the
nice
grand
ult
entrance through the
dong,
flash from
Kaiwing.
BDD. Perfect dives in.
Perfectable banget anjir.
Cataclysm onto the backline. The Emperor's Divide from Hongkyu.
I can watch this. They lost.
With the redemption, they are topped up to full.
I cannot watch
For a moment,
this.
CFO looked like they may have found the fight, but the wallets are too damn
Bro,
heavy.
kuat
KT
banget
find the
KT.
5-0 ace and will walk it down mid.
Yeah, CFO posed
Ini
the
mah
question,
Draven
but BDD
dilepas
had
pasti
the
game
answer as
3.
he has every single time this game. 100%
Draven dilepas pasti game 3. Mereka udah gak takut
for
lagi.
BDD 6-0 and 15 on the Oriana as they're looking for one of the
Bener-bener
fastest
gap
games at Worlds.
jauh.
Sub 25 minutes,
Jauh,
the prize
not
for
even
them,
close.
This roller coaster keeps on
It's not
ratcheting
even
up.
close.
KT in
Damn.
dominant fashion are gonna make it 2-0.
Kayaknya sih next game
The
Driver gak main sih.
looks at BDD, but the hearts were won by Peter. KT 1 game away from the promised land.
Shit! BDD, that's so cold.
Again, control from start to finish.
T1 lost to this.
Is there an answer available?
T1 lost to this. T1 kalah sama beginian.
So Eric turning around and glaring at them right now.
I will
T1
not
lost to
hesitate
this?
jump on those casters, guys.
No way.
KT Rolster is 1 game away
Not
from
even
reaching
close,
the very
bro.
first semifinals in the history of the organization. And I think about this
It's
roster and
not
at the
even
beginning of the year,
close.
the hope, the struggles that they went through. Is it so far the best result
Shit,
that they
shit,
have? And they're
shit.
about to do it 1 game away once again from this
Oh,
result.
fuck.
What a debut for Peter. Like, what an international debut for Peter, right? Because he was actually replaced earlier this year for a time, came back onto the roster, and he's been massive in these early game
Dikasih
plans. I know they're
tutor
calling
sama
out
BDD,
BDD
Cok.
was obviously kind of the star of their team fights throughout this, but it was Peter's Nautilus from level 1 setting up this KT early game. Absolutely great game from him.
He has been wrapping up all here, but he's clearly attained his final form here at Worlds in our HyperX Reflex replay, Kobe.
I mean, this game was not close. So let's
Not
go back,
even
as
close.
you say, in our replay to a time
This
when
game
it
is
was close. You know, at the
disgustingly
very beginning
Yep,
of the
Evelyn.
game. This is before the 7 deaths that ended up happening to Hongkyu. The very first is opened up from
Udah
Peter's
sih main
own
Azir gak
bottom
menang
lane.
sih,
The
udah
level
sih.
2 Rome. Because
Gak ada
Hongkyu's
harapan
training so
sih.
aggressively with BDD, they make the call. Peter, invest and just go for the hook. You trade flashes with Hongkyu. Then Hongkyu, he actually has confidence. He steps back up, so the heal, move speed, he dodges a second hook. He emotes because he's just thinking about the Peter danger.
Nggak main
And he
request-nya
wasn't thinking about, oh, I have no
Malas
flash,
setting
BDD
HP.
does. So Peter just takes away all the cooldowns from the Azir first, and then BDD can come in and get that first blood, which you know turned into many
Udah
more
ini kalau
bloods.
misalkan
BDD
CFO
for
tuh
his 100% co-participation.
kalau di World Quarter Final masih mudah, kalau mentalnya udah rusak kayak gini sih gak yakin bisa menang sih.
Before that mid lane play that we just went over, Kobe,
their mental is
already
destroyed, I think.
through the Nautilus
It's
level
hard.
1 below Junja's flash.
Kena
So
humble.
once again, Junja could
They
not
got
be
humbled
as
by Katie.
aggressive as he would have wanted to be in this early game, right? And the thing I really love, as we still see Peter kind of beasting it on this Nautilus, is that KT in both Game 1 and Game 2 have come in with clear early game plans, right? Like, we're highlighting Peter's Nautilus here because he was so huge in resetting that lane for BDD,
title stream yang
really
kemarin
getting
emang apa
BDD
aku?
ahead. But the fact that KT have come in now with these two drafts have really wanted to take over the early
Lah,
game
ngapain
is a great
diganti,
sign
Wak?
based on what we've seen from this team.
Cemen amat ganti pendapat.
And that's a crucial point here. We were expecting KT to get better.
Kalau punya pendapat tuh harus percaya dan tidak berubah, bro.
They kept on surprising. The world stage is the moment teams make or break, and right now, Kobe, it looks like it's going to be complicated for them. Do you see a comeback potential?
No, I don't. You talk about breaking. That game was not close in any sense of the word. They have to completely do everything different from that game. You have to
Sampai quarter final udah press lo di atas penerbangan terdekat. Pulang kah, Cevo?
Blasted them. They're making this look like a very unfair quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is they need to get Junja involved early, right? Like, Junja is such an engine for this team. He's the best jungler in the LCP. He has this consistent titles record, right, over there. So I think for me, it's all about can Junja get involved, get some pushing lanes, like you said, and move CFO forward.
Jet 2 Holiday.
The most one-sided series that I did not expect, honestly.
Nothing beat the Jet 2 Holiday. But right now, you can get £50 per person.
Of the organization. Let's see if they can take it right after the break.
Q goes in, BDD pops a stopwatch, Anakin secured, Kaiwing with a good quickness finds two with a knockup, but CFO now need to disengage. All their engaged
Apa BDD juga kayaknya gak enakan itu. Aduh, am I gonna do this to a freaking rookie? But it's a necessary sacrifice. You need this. You're gonna need this level of strength to beat Genji anyway. And the closest thing that can beat Genji right now is KT, to be honest. Kalau Hanwalef gak bisa, yang satu-satunya yang bisa ya KT sih. Training arc? Yeah, I think CFO need to get humbled once. Fine, that is fine. Get humbled is pretty good for improvement. There is still some space for improvement. I think they can change. T1 kalau menang lawan AL ya. Ya kalau lawan AL menang T1. Kalau menang.
Like make a misplay. Maybe it's my mouse. Maybe it's my armrest. Something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Circulab on Stage standard initiative aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
Menangis, pulang kah Franker? Udahkah main Demon King-nya? Udahan kah main Demon King-nya? Udahlah, kasih yang lain, Faker. Tapi jangan ke Genji sih, kalau bisa. Aku tidak mau LoL eSport berubah jadi gameplaynya boring kayak gitu semuanya gara-gara Genji aja. Aku tadinya suka Anyone's Legend, tapi setelah Anyone's Legend gameplaynya kayak Genji, sekarang nggak demen gua. Faker jadi streamer TFT aja, TFT.
Alright guys, I just landed in China. Let's go.
Play the local way. Pay your way. Have you ever seen the Great Wall at night? Play the local way. Pay your way.
大変ですね。やばい。Tidak.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh no. Okay. Tidak. No. Fuck. Come on, Katie. Gambatte, Katie. Gak coba Red Bull lagi, kayak mahal, Wak. Mending beli nasi. Beli pas diskon lah. Diskon juga kagak ngaruh, tetap kemahalan. Mending Red Bull atau Monster? Monster sih belum nyobain ya. Nggak ada yang jual. Mending Krating Dying lah, Krating Dying. Murah meriah, bos. Panter rasanya seperti air kencing kuda, kocak. Kagak enak aja.
안녕하세요. 처음으로 월즈에 진출한 신입생 KT 롤스터 피터 정윤수입니다. 자, 저는 데뷔 때부터
Father itu rasanya seperti air kencing Uma Musume.
계속해서 도전에 실패할 때마다 다음 연도에는 내가 저 자리에, 다음 연도에는 내가 그랬던 것 같아요.
Mending inilah Granita lah.
항상 꿈에 그리던 무대였는데
kopi basi.
이번 연도에 밟게 되어서 행복한 것 같습니다. 1차적인 목표를 이뤘다고 생각해서 많이 기쁘고요. 그렇지만 여기에 나온 팀들은 모두 저력 있는 팀이라 생각해서 잘 준비해서 월드 우승까지 할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Mending Panther apa kopi cup basi? Kopi cup basi lah. Granita bos.
진심으로 감사드립니다. 바이바이.
Anak warnet nih bos, minumnya Granita. Daripada air kencing Uma Musume.
Through this quarterfinal, already 2-0 up, winning the fastest game at Worlds so far this year as the second game of the series.
Aftertaste Sprite kayak bawa abis cuci piring deh, ya kan sama bahannya lemon ya, jeruk nipis ya.
Have a roller coaster to carry them up it, unlike KT, who keep going up.
BDD is looking like he's sitting on top of the mountain, rolling down boulders at him. I mean, this is looking tough. Because last game was
Sumpah, kopi cup apa atau Granita tuh mungkin emang ada yang basi, tapi enak anjir. Itu kopi Granita enak, cuk. Enak. Emang enak itu minuman.
I want to see them get a little bit spicy. You're on red side. I think that means we're going to get some interesting counter picks. This is the time, if you have any pocket picks, you've got to do something because standard is just not even close to working.
Kopi basi enak. Enggak, Granitanya yang enak.
How funky can you get? And whatever Fodian game they need to play, it's going to be a very difficult one.
Ada zat adiktif
to reach the top of that mountain. As KT once more, going to see if they can push it to that game number 3.
I mean,
gimana ini CFO masa 3-0?
All of the games that he played throughout this
quarter final masa 3-0 semua.
Shyvana, a Shen, like he's got Nidalee, he's got all kinds of random picks up there. So I don't know if he's going to see the opportunity for it, but to me, when you are looking like you are kind of playing a similar game as
come on, Katie, throw this just for the boys, come on.
It is time to kind of just
tapi kalau misalkan CFO lolos, gimana lawan Genji ya?
Because you're not going to win this series if you can't really.
Gak mungkin menang lawan Genji aja.
If it is your last game at Worlds 2025, try and just go out and show what your region was, what you were capable of doing. Like,
gak bisa. I don't think Draven will work against KT. KT is not that dumb.
What you were capable of, and if maybe, just maybe, you can take down KT, push yourself to that game 4 in these picks, maybe that opens up that wrench in the works that you need.
Look, I'm not saying it would be the most KT thing to go 2-0 up, get everyone excited, and then lose in a reverse sweep, but that would be the most KT thing I've ever heard of, as we see the Ambessa band away by CFO and an immediate Sion pick here for perfect.
Yeah,
dari tadi Peter kok yang carry.
Like you have got to have some sort of a plan. I have been kind of preaching. I'm a big fan of Cho'Gath as a potential answer. Mord has been the answer of the tournament.
Ya, Mordekaiser emang biasanya dipakai buat lawan Sion di patch ini.
For whatever you think is the best counter, bring it out. Mord, I think
Rek'Sai sih sebenarnya. Rex gak mau main Rek'Sai.
Always that not only are you so resilient, but all of your
tapi gak bisa sih.
Jangan
ntar dipukulin
It's really hard to actually create a meaningful advantage. Rek'Sai to me is just a much worse Sion. So I don't feel like this is it unless they have something else cooking.
itu tuh tipe kalau misalkan ada seseorang maju dipukulin pasti. Kalian lihat kan gameplaynya KT kayak gitu, tiap ada CFO yang engage, mereka targetnya langsung ganti aja, langsung ganti ke yang engage, langsung dipukulin yang engage. Dogo Caitlyn is pretty good. But I don't think you should blind pick Caitlyn. I don't think you should not pick Caitlyn. Blind pick, man.
So maybe you just play beefy frontline with an AD carry that can do
Although Cass is smiling.
Not the
Cass sudah melihat dia menuju final, Bong. Bangun, Cass.
KT have been able to find success
Wake up.
And early game. So if you're hitting this
Wake up from your delusion.
Hasn't really hit her power spike. That's really where you are going to struggle in this game. If you don't have something to facilitate that kind of mid-game point.
Immediately,
oh my god, it's over.
They know that they are going to get pushed in that bot lane, but as soon as the Ziggs gets towards that forbidden chapter, he can actually just wave clear for days. Chuck out the explosive minefield, a couple of bouncing bombs, the wave's gone before you can actually siege effectively.
And we do know it can be a flex, right? This could just be bot lane, is just we're just going to actually just wave clear infinitely and try to make the life difficult of this Caitlyn. Bard, would be one of these strong laners here, especially early game against Alistar, who is a pretty pitiful laner that would allow Kaiwing to have both some prio in the lane.
Gateng udah ini, Ziggs ada isinya.
Create a little bit of havoc, which could be beneficial for them.
I do like that thought of swapping the Ziggs down into that bottom side, because honestly, I think opening up like an AD mid laner for BDD could also be clutch here. We've seen the Yone come out a couple of times, and if you want to try and have that backline, that can work out. Caitlyn though,
Junja tuh picknya Jarva, Wukong, Xin Zhao, Trundle, Kiana. Kiananya di ban.
So if you opt into this kind of 1-4 split push,
Z sih dia bisa, tapi kalau Z itu cuma berlaku kalau misalkan lawan tim yang kaleng-kaleng. Lawan KT pakai Z sih wadidaw. Oke, Nocturne di ban, nice.
So effective when you have carries like the Caitlyn. Alistar's going to be flying in, Sion's going to be flying in, Ziggs ult is going to go on your head, and it becomes so hard to actually play out the fight from there.
Itu Rek'Sai juga damage-nya HP percentage kan?
Yeah, especially when you're already from CFO trying to ban away more of that dive, because they kind of realize like something like a Vi here probably going to be the last ban. Actually, the Yone
ban, Sylas ban
on that first rotation, because it is a case of just more of that backline pressure that you're trying to nullify.
Kas jago sih ini ya Lilianya.
It's very difficult for CFO given the current circumstance.
I do really like the Sylas ban.
Ini mah BDD main Zoe kayaknya. Zoe BDD kah? It's time.
Big respect to Honkyu as well.
Ziggs
In the finals against Team Secret Wales, he outplayed Histo in the Sylas versus Zed.
Zoe BDD for the boys.
The Zed was so fed, and it was like kind of his Faker versus Ryu moment, his moment that he really announced himself as the best player in the LCP. So now, getting with the Sylas, getting with the Pantheon, you can see KT saying, okay, we'll make sure that you can't be being a tanky by stealing the Alistar ult, but we'll also make sure you don't have long-range follow-up engage to something like a Tempered Fate.
Tapi ada Volibear, Junja.
You could obviously flex Rek'Sai to
Junja bingung anjir.
I don't think that's likely.
Champion poolnya habis,
Kindred would be fun. I mean, Kindred to me is one of those really powerful scaling picks. And you are going to need a lot of consistent damage to get through this Sion.
Okay.
Standard kind of
standard.
I'm not really loving
Kita butuh burst though. We don't have burst.
Honkyu. Red side, and then it's like your Sion counterpick
Honkyu apa? Burst
is
apa?
picking your bot lane. I kind of don't really understand what they were trying to go with.
Nggak bisa
I
banyak
mean, it must be just trying to enable Honkyu on something funky, right? Like
Honkyu
he's the
beda apa?
last pick here.
Tuh kan Zoe, udah aku tahu. Aku pasti main Zoe. Pasti Zoe. 3-0 ini, 3-0. It's not even close.
And now it's his signature pick that you have to find a win.
It's not even close.
This is the GOAT Zoe, like, and there's so much.
Veigar works. Veigar works. Apa? Veigar. Tapi ada Viego. Gak tahu.
Yeah, there is the Viego.
Oh, Hui bagus.
It is interesting. It is
burst. That
it is
burst.
Also not the
if I saw one.
Easy comp to pilot.
That
now,
burst.
That being said, if you are first
that
to the objective
can be
as
worked.
KT, trying to walk in through Ziggs poke and Zoe poke is going to be an
that can be
absolute
worked.
nightmare. And CFO at the end of the day kind of just went with like a couple meatballs and some scaling carries, and they're going pretty standard here.
I think they're just gonna lose the game. I don't know. Ini sama sekali bukan championnya CFO. Udah kalah sih, bukan signature pick ini. Apa? KT main comfort pick. KT main comfort pick. Deokdam gak usah ditanya Ziggs ya. BDD ini salah satu orang yang jago ini. Ini comfort pick. Ini pick. Ini depresi sih CFO. It's such a depressed pick, not gonna lie.
I think what you can do as
ini comfort pick banget, Katie.
Right? Like Zoe, very strong when ahead.
CFO is so depressed, man.
For these like barred ultimates to lock her down after she comes
CFO
back
pick is just sad.
They are very easy plays to make, and maybe that's how you can try and swing it. But again, if you just have this hard focus
CFO pick is just
on
sad.
shutting down Junja, denying them from getting any sort of leads in the early game, you can look to snowball off of, hey, we're just going to move the Ziggs around and
Is
try and take
Dogo gonna show them who is the boss? Little Uzi?
And possibly the
Will
final
Little Uzi
game
wake up?
of this second quarter final. I must be misremembering, having a look. Oh no, they had it. It was their fourth game, but it was with a Nocturne, not with a Viego. Similar idea though. The Nocturne was there with the Paranoia. You had the Ziggs, the Zoe combination for that initial
KT
burst.
dapat comfort pick aja. Chill banget. Gak bisa Junja, kamu gak bisa main agresif lagi.
They have that Nocturne. Of course, Viego I think kind of slots in similarly. But maybe we'll get a bit more of a bruiser sign to have a bit more damage.
Tapi mainnya kayak pemain sepak bola, Wak, Katie.
Super tanks over on the other side. Usually we are going to see Rek'Sai building bruiser and Junja on this Skarner. Not going to be too big of an issue, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see how they can play it out, because it's really going to be about Hongq and Doggo, I think, avoiding a lot of this poke, avoiding a lot of the damage, and
karena Jujunya bukan sering oleng ya, itu dia makanya picknya CFO itu bukan champion mereka semua itu, kecuali Caitlyn.
For these carries, for them to be able to have a chance.
Yeah, I think Junja's going to have his work cut out from this game. Skarner not great into a lot of range. Just
CFO mah udah pede, KT mah udah pede itu picknya, pick signature semua.
As it starts to go on, but again, I think it's more for CFO about
saking
getting
nyamannya.
Junja access in the early game.
Meanwhile, CFO, aduh, championku abis. Aduh, champion aku abis. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very difficult because there's a lot of tools to actually disrupt what the Skarner is trying to do as well. You're looking at headbutt away, you're looking at satchel, you're looking at trying to drive straight in on a Zoe who can sleep you. It's very, very difficult, I think, for him to be able to find these effective ganks. And then sure, you could attack topside, but you're ganking a Scion, right? So it's going to be tough.
We've talked at length across the course of the series and on the analyst desk about, you don't say you're excited about KT. You don't get too much motivation when you're talking about them, because sometimes you're worried that they're not going to be able to have as much impact as they want. 2015 knocked out in the quarterfinals. 2018 knocked out in the quarterfinals. 2023 knocked out in the quarterfinals. Often they lose to a team that either loses to the champions or are the champions.
Like this.
But for so long, KT have been on the brink of taking that next step, and it seems like today here in Shanghai, it is finally their time to go one step further towards the finals.
And what an impressive performance it would be. The fact that they came into LCK and did not look good. They were not able to pick up wins at the start of their group stage, but instead then getting into playoffs, they have this massive upset against Gen G, and the whole world takes notice. And unfortunately that notice is exactly where KT fans don't want it to go, as KT weren't able to continue up on that success. But a 3-0 start here at Worlds, and now potentially looking to see if they can have a 3-0 performance here against CFO.
I mean, it would make it 7 straight wins at Worlds in the game score, but for CFO, they need to find a way in. Really feels important to try to create a point of power on the map, somewhere that you can really focus on, that you can play towards.
Not
obviously,
like
you do
this,
have those champions
CFO.
like the Skarner and like the Bard that really can get active on the map, but you need somewhere to attack, you need somewhere to go. I don't think it's going to be top lane, so you really are looking at Hongq and Doggo to try to have that big standout performance. It feels like kind of all the eggs have got to be in those baskets.
I really agree with you. For CFO, it's, again, like an international where they have impressed. Last time we saw them lose a series before Worlds was back at MSI 2AL. And now they come back into Worlds. They impressed with the victory versus T1. And
yang aku gak demen ini siapa kalau kalah pasti di Twitter apanya fraud, just a fucking fraud. CFO fraud, no sayo no win. Oh tidak, kena slip,
From Hongq, but he holds it and is able to walk away. He did TP back into this lane, BDD. But
oh my god, what the fucking fraud.
But realistically, like, it's a nothing gank from Cuz, right? He's already fully cleared out. He wanted to move back down towards his bottom side of the map. So a transitional gank that just puts some pressure on towards Hongq. And
bro, Ben,
pretty much
you know what's the difference between KT and CFO?
Try and get in towards the jungle.
KT itu fraud yang berhasil ngalahin Genji.
Okay, we've done that. Right, let's move Peter mid. Let's move Cuz mid.
KT beats Genji.
That mid jungle
it's different fraud.
Today has been under constant threat from KT.
Really has, and they're going to try to put some pressure on this top side.
Do you know how big that is?
You can see BDD is moving, though. He's already heading up here, so Perfect just has to delay.
Got to kill him quickly, Junja!
Oh,
he
no!
looks for the yourselves impact, but he flashes over. Perfect, he flashes away. BDD has the sleepy trouble bubble, and Junja is going to take a little nap underneath the tower. No one tanking it. The paddle star going wide. Still damage onto Junja. He's able to walk his way away. In the end, an exchange of summoners.
That is heartbreaking for CFO. Junja not able to make it happen, and honestly, lucky they managed to escape afterward. Rest doing a good job of blocking the paddle star from being able to connect onto the jungler.
Yeah, did a really good job to be able to block that up, but that is heartbreaking. Junja, such a strong jungler here. That does feel like one of those world's nerves moments here, as he tried to flash in for the unreactable Ishtal's impact to be able to get the instant stun on the wall, but he just flashed past him and then tried to hit us with a little drift to get back into position, but couldn't quite find it. Might have been the first kill there of the game for them.
BDD pengen, BDD want that trophy right now.
Someone that they have been able to depend on here at Worlds is Doggo.
BDD won the trophy now.
We've talked about him a lot, crushing on the Draven games, and he's going to be here on this Caitlyn when his team needs him most. I mean, he's first of all 80 carries, goal difference at 14, really high damage percentage, has been passing the eye test with flying colors. You need to get him in a winning position, because even in these last 2 games, when you think about who has been having the best individual performance for CFO, even in losses, I feel like it has mostly been him. He has been trying to find these big moments, trying to go aggressive. You think to the Corki game, you know, flashing and getting that kill. You think to the Kaisa game, that bot lane fight, you know, going deep against those
Tadi
carries,
2 game huge,
getting a couple shutdowns.
Gap banget, not even close.
Doggo has the mechanics to get you across the finish
not
line
even
against
close.
teams of this caliber.
Especially against composition like this from KT. This is one that wants to snowball. Zoe went ahead.
Kalah mulu rotasinya Kaiwing.
Bloody useless. And a very similar story when you come towards the Ziggs, but Dokdam has not been missing these bouncing bombs, and Doggo's hurting.
Yeah, and Dokdam is level 6, so you have got to be careful. You get hit by anything else, the ult might just be your flash or your death. So Doggo going to have to back off, which means you're going to be losing some more minions.
There's a double bubble down. Peter looking for the headbutt pulverize. Spectral Maul coming out as well will land the serve, but only onto Honkyu. Kaiwing flashed away there on the Bard. Before we saw the trade in the bot side, Honkyu did look for a spiraling despair in mid, and it went wide, which is the "oh" I exclaimed as we worked our way down towards bot.
But again, KT, pressure mid, opening up for Dokdam on bot side.
Okay, Rest doing good actually.
Now that Doggo is losing on this bottom
Come on,
side,
Rest.
it's because Dokdam was able to hit
Tapi
so many of
normal
these
sih lawan
consistently.
Sion
Now,
ya.
Peter, how much more do they want to go for?
The Mega Inferno Bomb. Doggo is healthy enough, but a third of your HP lost just as you walk back to the lane. Kaiwing a while away from getting down
Itu
here.
saya lihat Caitlyn build-nya bukan kritikal itu atau perasaan dong.
That was Cuz placing this ward after he did that drive-by gank in mid lane. That has been there the whole time. Jeffo has not been able to clear that out for quite a while, and that's giving them all this information.
Atau mau bikin apa itu?
Hey mate, there's a ward in there. Get the gold.
You know what? I respect it. He's like, we're winning a little bit too
kolektor
hard,
kan ada
buddy.
armor penet
The
ya.
ward.
Well, Kaiwing has to kill the ward, so
Bentar,
he's delayed
kan
it getting
tanknya
to the
banyak
mid
ya?
lane. Honkyu has to flash away with Peter, but collapsing. Cuz is
Tapi ada, tapi bisa sih kolektor sih. Bener-bener ada Ziggs sama Zoe bisa. Tanknya cuma 2, Bisa.
Numbers disadvantage right now.
But you still have that TP on Dokdam, who's just gone for the reset as well. So potentially going to TP up to this fight. This is risky for a CFO.
Sleep onto Honkyu. BDD doesn't have a huge amount of mana. Grubs begun again by
I think people need. Oh no! Honkyu!
Oh, Peter, take a medal, take a prize, impaled under the tower.
Oh, nice ulti, Jujur. Not bad.
Rest trying to come in from the side. He's going to get slapped
Alamak,
as well.
di-delete sama Zoe nih, Cok!
As Dokdam takes the kill. Kaiwing chased out, make it 3. KT secure the piece of warfare.
KT have woken up and chosen violence. Picking off members of CFO everywhere on the map, and now they're going to move over towards their prize of these boy grubs.
And again, it's one of these situations where
It's
CFO is
clean
not respecting
trio.
the map state. You called it out, Rob. Look at the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is locked under her tower down here on the map, and we have the Ziggs
It's
who's
so
going to be
fucking
TPing in, adding the extra man, and just beautiful play there from Peter. Uses the W taxi, and then Q flash forward out of that.
Oh
Sets
my
him up
God,
for
it's
first
going to be
blood.
trio.
Does lose his life, but Dokdam is
This
there.
is
They
sad.
have the extra
This is
member.
sad.
They get the feats of warfare, and Honkyu's just caught snoozing.
It's just sad.
He is taken down from long range. He was shopping.
They say don't meet your idols, and Honkyu really wishing he hadn't done this one. BDD setting that up for the long-range play from Dokdam. The synergy with this composition from KT is beautiful.
I mean, the sleep into the Ziggs ult from long range. And Honkyu gets taken out, and now insult to injury. More waves going to be lost here.
Oke, kalau misalkan ini KT,
already so far ahead.
kalian bisa lihat nanti T1 mainnya kayak apa. Kalau misalkan ini gameplay KT, kebayang nanti matchnya T1 kayak apa, Cok.
Again, CFO are trying, but they just can't quite get the plays they want.
I can already see how T1 gonna play the next 2 days.
BDD, and his goal difference this series has been through the roof. And now that you're in a position to continue this pressure, like you can
What
move
is
six
this
down to that bottom side of
scary
the map
shit
to take
right
that
now?
turret after you push in mid. Start to threaten now and use these walls at things like the dragon, which have just spawned. And
I think AL is just gonna be gone.
Yeah, it is really looking tough already.
I don't think AL have a no.
Peter's looking.
The sleep again. Hongkyu's gonna have nightmares. Collapse from KT. And BDD claims his second.
The best Zoe in the world, and he's showing us why. Relentless pressure here. This red side draft is not working out at all for CFO. I mean, you look up, you gave over the Scion, you've created an 80 gold lead for the Rex side.
I think Hongkyu is going to cry.
It's just a nothing burger. And then down in the bot side, you have
I think Hongkyu is going to
cry.
Answer
to this Caitlyn,
bro is still young.
And it has been
I need to fight this
throughout the
shit.
entire game.
And we've talked about it so often for CFO. If
Dia harus
Junja
lawan
and Hongkyu can be
beginian
on the same
aja.
page, they can do work, but KD have shut them down perfectly. Dogdam flashes away, the headshot's not enough! The Peacemaker doesn't find its mark. Junja flashes finally,
Junja, nice.
finds the shutdown.
Okay, Junja, wake up, Junja.
Ults away with that Heartbreaker. A magical journey
Be
for
welcome
Junja
to
onto
membership.
Peter, but
Thank you
another
for
blast gun
joining.
will get them to safety. As Junja might try and collapse on BDD. Ishtal's impact.
Come on, man up,
catches
Hongkyu.
Peter,
Wake up.
slams him into the wall. The rest of CFO trying to collapse.
Junja is
but
a
there's the
little
trample
bit
stun, a good impale
deep.
through the wall.
Junja is a little bit deep. Junja is a little bit deep. CFO! Come on!
Still dashing forward with the portal jumps in the end. CFO will back away with two.
The Flying Oysters are not done yet. They knew that was their moment. They were going to put some more
Come on,
pressure
Shefo, you got the tempo now.
Needs to be careful. So Trouble Bubble doesn't land. I thought BDD might go for the flash Trouble Bubble there.
Yeah, KT.
Thank you, Junja. Thank you, Junja.
Very aggressively in that moment. I mean, CFO pushed them out, but KT is like, you know what? We're just gonna keep scrapping. They didn't want to back off to the tower. They didn't want to cede.
Come on, wake up,
that
Shefo.
jungle camp. So they just kept fighting, and CFO able to get something back here. But again, Dogdam just pushing through mid lane constantly. Rest has been a constant up in this top lane, has been very annoying to deal with for Perfect. It is a frustrating matchup. You're locked under your tower, but Sion is still getting what Sion needs. When we look back one more time,
ini sumpah gak ngerti kenapa dia bisa hidup ya, cocok. Oh, nge-flash terus. Oh, second, nggak ada dari second chance itu apa sih? Kok dia nggak mati?
Pixel on towards that health bar. And at this stage, it's the right call from CFO. Just throw everything in the kitchen sink and see what you can get. And KT, they do stick around a bit too long.
Kalau Genji mah bukan plot armor dong, emang jago itu mah. I think Genji is just strong. I don't know guys. Genji is just strong, you know. It's not plot armor.
Exactly, and I mean, even with BDD around, you're still down a member. Dogdam is dead.
Genji is
still a
strong.
4v3, and you're fighting it without the ultimates on Cuz, without the ultimate on Peter, with lower health bars. So it was definitely a very aggressive look
Yang
there
plot armor
from
mah
KT.
T1.
Wanted to try to defend. Not a huge punish either way, but it is a little glimmer of hope you have to feel like there for CFO. Unfortunately, the kills going to Skarner is not what you want to see.
He's the only guy with a big gold lead for CFO, 1,000 gold ahead on Junja, who has been the face of this league for so many years.
Aneh ya. Genji itu ibarat Raja Iblis yang tidur yang harus dikalahin T1. Tapi yang juara Piala Dunia T1 anjir.
Cuz getting slowed by it as well, but
T1 punya 5 Piala Dunia, tapi yang Raja Iblisnya Genji. Aneh banget emang dunia. Dan itu benar, Genji memang Raja Iblis. The world is weird, man.
It sets up Hongkyu for all of his skill shots. Those become point and click.
The world is so weird.
It gives them this vision control in this top side if they want to play aggressive, waiting on that push from Hongkyu in the top side, because you've got Herald in 30 seconds, so CFO looking to see if they can capitalize on it.
Genji memang Raja Iblis, tapi yang punya piala T1 aneh banget.
But now they have to look for the reset. No wards currently on Kaiwing. That's what he's going back for. Trying to get them up.
Duro kayak kartu Joker yang nya Genji selama ini gagal juara gara-gara supportnya nggak bisa ambil momen, beda sama carry sama T1. Bisa jadi sih. Is Duro. Bro, Duro kan itu rookie ya. Kalau misalkan debutnya langsung win world, Duro harganya naik sih. Bro, sahamnya Duro menyentuh langit sih. Not gonna lie, debut langsung menang world.
and spot out
Man,
our house CFO.
do you
and trying to
understand
move in en masse this top side of the
the
map.
fit of that support is?
CFO have maintained pretty good defensive vision in their jungle. They're trying their best to actually move
The
it
beauty of
forward
menang
into that
world,
river
Cok.
to try to be able to take control. But Cousin Peter have just been moving around here constantly. You know, BDD or Doctem gets pushed, then they move over as well, and non-stop just fighting over this vision. It's so hard to fight against a Zoe Ziggs if you do not know where they are.
Especially when double Hex Tech Gunblade completed. That's so much burst damage if you can hit both
Is
of
Dura the
those,
promised support for
channels on
Genji?
towards lockdown targets.
10,000
That's
years
exactly
ago.
what KT are looking to do, just fishing for some of these bubbles on the top side, seeing if they can connect with Honkyu. But KT, gonna take it slow, push out the waves, and then amass onto this objective.
Yeah, Peter going to go back, pop up those wards again, went from 1 to 4. And you have to remember as well, with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, the next bit of magic damage you're taking is amplified, so those bouncing bombs can kind of act just like a paddle star.
Ziggs ult too. I mean,
that's my worry.
That's kind of the real dream. Is you hit that on a carry, you press R.
Aduh,
they're
ini
either
Sion
dead or they
tebal
leave the
banget
fight, right?
nanti.
Like there's no continuing the fight as Doggo. And, you know, in that situation, if they're going to commit that, Kaiwing is going to have to be really fast with almost defensive Bard ults, right? Because if to start off the fight,
Itu
when
dari
your
tadi
carry's
suara
hit by a sleep,
ngeledek
and
masih
Ziggs is gonna
proyek kan,
throw
Kak?
his ult, you've
Itu
got to
hujan di
be
luar.
right there to try to deny it. But that takes really quick reactions.
And Herald no longer the target for either of these two teams as KT set up vision around the Drake. Will be soul point for them, and an Infernal Soul with Ziggs and Zoe is not something you want to give over easily. Already down to 4K. Peter acting as a bouncer. Rest trying to get in.
We need this dragon, Junja. Nice ult, Kaiwing. Lalu, smite-nya. Junja, thank you. Oke, CFO get the tempo. Dapat. Temponya dapat. Bisa. Bisa, masukin.
Further with that Ishtar's impact, and Ace in the hole.
Oh my God, CFO!
BDD forces him back underneath his tower.
KT's poke is exceptional.
Look at
The poke lands and Rest want to keep this going.
Help.
Somebody, oh
my God, Trev. Oh my God.
Stand, he'll pay for it with his life. In the end, CFO turn their eyes towards the Herald.
Exactly, they're going to be able to use that pressure to go over towards the Herald. I mean, this is the other side of this style of composition. It is so aggressive when all your poke is hitting, but when the spells don't land, you have no consistent damage whatsoever.
Oh my God,
and watch
this is so
BDD in this fight.
beautiful.
He's kind of having this like one-on-one on the side against Doggo, but everything misses. And when those first round of spells do miss, Junja flashes in, gets the smite, and BDD cannot hurt the front line whatsoever. The carries are untouched on the CFO side. And once CFO are in the mix, they can't be stopped.
And that's the big one, is as soon as you get this Garner into place, as soon as this Rek'Sai can actually get onto the targets, that's where they are so terrifying. And
Come on,
ideally,
Draper,
KT,
shake it out.
Don't let them get into that position.
It's
But by
time to reverse
over-grouping
sweep.
at the
Come on.
Dragon, they open up everything for CFO. And it's just maybe give CFO
It's time
that
to
hope.
reverse sweep. Come on.
Control the area, control the objectives, but Doggo.
Doggo has the flash.
Okay, Doggo no flash, bahaya.
Gets himself to safety. KT's still looking for a little bit more. Importantly, most of the gold in that last fight for CFO, who have evened out the total gold in the game, did go to their jungler and to their top laner. Rek'Sai can do a lot of damage. Titanic Hydra complete. Tunneler as well, building up to more of those physical damage items.
Okay. Res carry the game so hard, not gonna lie.
For me, it's less about the gold. It's about
Res is carrying the game, my man.
Really what
Come on,
CFO
man
need.
up, Res.
When you're getting down these turrets, it doesn't give KT as much access to the map, and you can make plays like this.
Charles impact satchel charge stops it. That does mean the satchel can't be used on the tower.
But it also, again, it's about getting this deeper vision. So as KT look to contest objectives, they're not throwing these like long-range bubbles through the walls that can then retreat,
Satu-satunya
fall
user
back
Viego
step by
yang
step, and
jago
you
yang
have
aku
to constantly
kenal.
try and fight for that
Honor
control
sama
back over
Piosik.
the objective. If you can park yourself as CFO
Not
in front
even
of it,
close.
you force KT to
Kalau
pull that
soal
trigger
Viego
early,
sih,
which is
Piosik
exactly
sama
what we just
Honor ya.
saw. That's not what KT want to do.
Those two is the
It's
god.
just kind of such an interesting
My
set of compositions,
panutang.
right? Because KT's comp really is all or nothing, right? You hit everything, you hit that sleep into the Mega Inferno Bomb, all of a sudden
User
CFO can do
Viego
nothing.
sih
You miss all
Honor
those early
Piosik
spells
sih.
and get hard engaged on, all of a sudden you're not really putting
Kalau
out
soal
any
gak bisa
pressure
semua itu
either on
Peanut.
that front line
Udah
because,
pensiun bang, Bari
his
jangan bahas Peanut.
1.3K gold behind. This Viego really needs that first reset. And there's not any like point and click. You're not paired with a Syndra, an Annie, an Ahri, anything like that. So it's just everything does your focus.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Oh my god, the Mega Inferno bomb of
Oh my god, no. Oh my god, BDD. BDD. BDD.
Everything hits this time.
Rek'Sai. Oh shit. Oh no.
Put to sleep and all he'll see are nightmares of KT. A triple in the air for Dr.
Tiba-tiba triple kaji Dogo. Ow, ow, ow. Alamak. Wait! Hongkyu! Awas ultinya.
Breaker a stake through the heart of CFO as KT win out the fight.
It's a taster of what
BDD is
CFO
so
could
good,
have,
bro.
but it's KT who are once again cooking CFO over an open pit. The amount of gold and nourishment they're getting out of this roster is insane right now.
We just got to see what the two different fights look like. The abilities hit, and there is not a lot you can do. Look at this beautiful sleep into the Mega Inferno
Oh, karena berubah jadi Caitlyn ya?
Everything timed perfectly there.
Ow.
We're going to call it the Mega Inferno bubble. That was looking clean. And with him gone already,
Shit,
BDD,
man.
he's looking like he's got an aimbot. He's just point and click.
Peter caught with a tempered
Okay.
fate.
Bisa. Tangkap.
Going golden, but he is
Bisa. Peter mati, bisa. Kasih ADC. Nice.
Next,
Nice.
TP's coming out as CFO try to up the tempo. TP out from Perfect as well as KT are going to call for a fight of their own.
You gotta wait for BDD. This wall could be devastating, but he's so far away. The ultimates are flying, but Adakan is going down.
Hongkyu already down to half HP. Perfect with the decimating
Awas, ultinya Zik. Okay, nice.
The sleep lands, but only onto rest.
Nice,
will KT
CFO.
continue to chase, or will they
Come on.
accept that this fight is not for them?
Fantastic play from CFO. They get the pick and they just force
It's great.
and immediately start the Otacon, rush it down. Don't allow KT to get set up. KT's comp is so weak when they're late to the fight.
And this is the scrappiness we're talking about for CFO.
Oh.
They don't want to give up the area. Dragon's there.
Oh no, Hongkyu!
Hongkyu spiraling to spare.
Okay. Bisa. BDD died. Come on. BDD died.
He possesses that way, and the chase continues. Dodge across the wall. Spectral Maw doesn't get the stun. Jinja trying to retreat.
Kairing.
The satchel.
Do something, Kairing.
And Rest has the flank doggers there as well.
Rest here.
Falls, and now the Skarner taken away by Cars. Rest trying to get
No.
And Doggo leave him for the KT Wolves. They'll get the kills.
Why we fight
They'll clean it
again?
out, and will they turn their eyes towards the Drake? They'll do that and take mid.
CFO tried to salvage the play with Doggo and Rest running as fast as they could, but it's KT who are pouncing on Junja and finding the kills they need to turn the play back.
I mean, it feels like it was just 2 or 3 minutes ago that we were talking about Cuz being down 1.3 gold. He got 7 kills in a row, and now is up nearly 2K on this Viego. He is a problem. Has the entire
Kita punya
LDR
Atakan sama Herald.
They just moved
We don't
towards
have
Soul
Dragon,
Point as
though.
well. This play to start it off though was really nice
We
from
don't have
Doggo.
Dragon.
As BDD goes over the wall, he almost one-shots him, but he goes
BDD
back
died
into
though.
the
That's
room.
huge actually.
You got the 90 caliber net hitting him, takes him down with that headshot. But Cuz is such a problem. We talk about the lack of consistent damage. Doesn't feel like they have that anymore.
Honkyu's
the timing!
Decimating smash against the knockup. They don't kill the tower. Mega Inferno will go down
Aduh,
as well.
ultinya. Hongkyu.
Takes a drive to his demise.
Why?
And now KT can look for more. BDD with a paddle star doesn't quite clip Junja. CFO back away.
Perfect timing on that decimating smash was just that. What a beautiful play. Catches Hongkyu as he pops out of the Herald there. Peter follows up. That's the carry down.
And it was unnecessary. You didn't need to take that ride. Hongkyu thought maybe he could get it,
Rise
but
is carrying the game so
doesn't
hard.
even fall off the back of it. It is a stiff breeze away from falling. But KT, when CFO find their hope, they snuff it out so fast.
Yeah, and the pedal difference is pretty significant, though. You have to look over at CFO's side. It's about 2,300 gold in their favor as far as adaptive stats. So the gold lead lies to you a little bit, but still, it is KT getting further and further ahead, nearly 4,000 gold up. 3.5 minutes until CFO is going to have to try to make their last stand. It really feels like it's all about the setup at the Dragon, because if KT are there first, it feels almost impossible to walk in. But likewise, if CFO are there first and you're trying to walk through a way, you're trying to walk through this trap line, the poke is never going to come. So it's all about who can get that setup, who can control vision. And right now, it's been KT with the pushing waves, and it's them getting the much easier setup.
BDD pushing in this top side. On his signature pick, this Zoe lost on it back in 2022. Has only played it once since then, but averages about 75% win rate on the champ all time. So often we see KT having a band against them. For Hongkyu, He'll be looking like the last couple of fights have gone well. Couple of good spiraling despairs. I don't think he's had a series where he would say he's shone, but he can do it. We have seen him so many times come back from poor series, from poor games, and within that same game actually accelerate himself to victory.
And the spiraling despairs have been so crucial, not only for getting some of these picks, but getting those slows are crucial to enabling Junja and Rest to get into these fights. So if you can find them, that can be the difference maker. That little bit of a slow that enables CFO.
Kalau Hongkyu mah dia memang kena humble. Dia Hongkyu masih bisa nemu angle. Kalau misalkan yang bisa dia lawan.
Devastating losses is now potentially
he still deal damages. That is good. But Kaiwing though, ultinya gak pernah berimpact.
And they're looking for a pick on Rest.
Just trying to tunnel away, but Peter uses the minion line to try and get himself towards it. There's the knockup, there's the trample, there's the drowsy, and there's Rest. Sent to a coffin.
CFO, why don't we do Baron? Why don't we do Baron? Everyone is in the bot.
Can chase forward a little bit further. They do have cannon minion here. Ace in the hole.
We can do Baron.
Now they retreat because KT are collapsing.
But you still have BDD pushing to that bottom side, so CFO, they're not able to get the tier 2. It would be BDD who's able to pick up that objective, but CFO
wonders from Junja. Impale doesn't connect.
Impale gak connect.
Onto Cuz will doing the same. Perfect still, just standing as a meat wall in front of CFO.
Hongkyu. Oh my god, CFO is gone. Baron.
And now KT can smell their victory.
It's over.
Arrives and CFO
they're gonna get Baron.
The Baron is next on the table
fucking
here.
3-0.
They are crushing this fight.
It's supposed to be the closest banger.
Tried to force their
it's
hand,
not even
KT
close.
Make the collapse happen. And not only do they get that, they got the tier 2 bot, they get the Baron, they get everything.
And on this composition that feels
it's not even
like it
close.
is unique to KT, this Zoe and Ziggs, they're hoping they can burst it down. They should be able to do so, as Rest was there. But KT, this is beautiful. And
today is supposed to be the close banger, not massacre.
They know they're behind. So Junja tries to go for the
not one-sided like this.
Damage. The knock-up from Perfect sets up Doggo and Kaiwing to take half their health bar off the Mega Inferno Bomb, and then KT follow.
Now Peter for player of the series, man. He
Shit, Peter is so good.
Junja so it doesn't connect, and then Cuz can rejoin the fight.
Oh no, Hongkyu is crying.
From him every game.
No,
I mean, he's absolutely smurfing. That Ziggs ult had to be 3,000 plus
legit
damage between the 3 people that it hit. Like,
bro, this is bullying.
BDD arrives.
This is bullying.
He's got death cap completed now. 2 seconds until the potential last stand here of CFO. Can Junja come up with another hero steal?
Rest is in the top lane, pushing in for that tier 2. Does have the teleport and will use it.
Bro, this is bullying, bro.
BDD looking to see if he can find a sleepy trouble bubble. Lands it onto Rest. He can't join the fight. Tempered fate on the back by Powerstar. Just short. Dragon down to 4k. SKT look for the soul and knock back onto Junja.
Masih Peter, cok. Peternya anjir. Aduh, itu Ziggs dengan Infernal, cok. Ziggs with Infernal is not good. It's not good.
Series, I don't know what is.
Peter is MVP. The fuck is this support?
CFO and look for the semis.
No one expected KC
it's
to
one-sided.
It's
over.
That could push themselves forward, but at semi-finals in
this is bullying.
Their curses may be
this is bullying.
For the first time ever, KT looked ahead to the World semifinals.
This is
And
bullying.
with only Kaiwing left to
God.
watch, CFO will be eliminated. A valiant stand from them.
Fucking
a valiant stand for the
3-0.
LCP, but today is KT's
3-0.
day. Kaiwing can do nothing but watch as KT take the Nexus Towers. The Nexus next, the KT coaster keeps on climbing for the first time in history.
3-0! It's not even close!
And what an incredible run it has been for KT. Make it 7 wins
so
in
disgusting.
a row.
It's so fucking. It's such a gap.
Yet to drop a game. They have been on fire.
Oh my
and who'd
god.
have thought Peter would be the one stepping up so much in a series like this?
His first time at Worlds, his first time outside of South Korea, and Peter is carrying KT alongside members like
KT, I swear.
What
KT kalau lu sampai kalah sama JNG ya KT. Sumpah KT.
And what a moment for
KT, if you lost from JNG, I swear.
Semi-finals for this roster, and now the question is, what is the limit for them?
And for CFO, a moment of contemplation as they see KT take their bow. They can be proud of what they've done, making it to the quarterfinals, taking victories against T1, managing to pick up wins, showing that the LCP can challenge on the global stage again for the first time in 10 years.
That's gonna be depressing.
All those 5 players
He's supposed to be a prodigy.
alongside them deserve your respect. What a performance overall from CFO.
Bagus. Mereka masih punya ruang untuk berkembang. Come back stronger next time, CFO. Come back stronger. Come back stronger next time. Next time.
So many times to say it. Oh my god! The first time in the history of the organization, KT Rolster make it to semifinals.
Pertama kalinya KT masuk semifinal.
Oh my gosh! I don't even want to say it. I was just thinking of all of those amazingly nice KT fans at 2018 that watched this team lose to
Peter
IG.
sih MVP sih.
They're still KT
Peter,
fans and they're watching
what the
now,
fuck,
I
man?
immediately just thought of
Why are you so
them and how
strong?
happy they would be.
And they are looking so good while doing it. Really well deserved.
Peter, you're so good. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
So many big plays from him.
He was subbed out during the year. Thinking about the days he was playing at Nongshim until the performance he put out today, Peter, goated performance this series.
Absolute
He was
cinema.
so good, and this is his first international. This is his first time on a plane.
Besok G2 Aku tidak kuat, aku tidak kuat. Jantungku tidak kuat anjir.
English broadcast is done with him. He's always so happy, so fun. And he showed up massively today. He was such a huge part of how KT were able to get ahead in these early games, which we hadn't seen
Drivennya di
as much from
ban.
them at this tournament.
Gak pernah lepas drivennya.
One player that we need to highlight once again, he has been the backbone of this team all year
Gak mungkin
long.
ada orang waras lihat Draven kayak gitu, Dravennya dilepas kocak.
Series with his signature Zoe in game 3.
Yeah, and it came so close between BDD and Peter because they both were absolute stars today. The reason why I think we ended up siding with BDD was this Zoe performance.
I guess this is what happened when you fight the real team.
KT once again, Kobe.
So many big performances from him. You know, BDD has been doing work all
Tomorrow tes 3-0 kah? Kayaknya besok tes 3-0 deh anjir. Besok judulnya gitu ah.
So BDD is someone
Tes 3-0 buruan gitu. Malas. Dah malas.
You heard even Choi in his interview with Shox at the beginning of the day, right? He's like, BDD is someone I admire so much for his resiliency. He's been around for so long, continuing to grind, and just had a phenomenal performance today.
And Hongkyu as
so
well.
This is the end.
BDD is my idol. BDD, by the way, his line in the teaser goes so hard. It's like, yes, if you consider me your idol, I'm going to show you what it takes to become one. And he did.
Shout out to CFO, of course, here in this series. They had an amazing year. It's hard, you know, when you come back to quarterfinals here, it makes such a difference from the Swiss stage. The time you have to prepare, it was just not their day today, but honestly, massive shout out to whatever this team has been able to achieve this year on the international stage. I want to see this roster again.
Yeah, and you saw it from their gameplay, right? Like even in this third game where it looked like, okay, they're in a really tough spot, they never kept fighting. I thought this was the first game where Junja really was able to actually start popping off. Any KT fan was definitely super nervous watching that, but the CFO roster is so fun, and I really hope they do stick this core together because they play so well together. They are a true united team.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Hongkyu is still only 18 years old. Yeah. He has a very bright future ahead of him. I hope that he can stay in the LCP because a lot of teams are probably going to want, you know, to pick him up. Doggo as well. What an amazing year for him. Such inspirational stuff from this team.
This team reignited the hope for their region with young blood. With
that was very quick. We just here for like 3 hours, maybe.
But for now, it has been KT's day.
Oke lah, kalau begitu terima kasih yang sudah menonton. Jangan lupa like dan subscribe. Sampai jumpa besok. Kita akan melihat apakah G2 bisa mengalahkan top esport, the best LPL player, the second best LPL player right now. See you guys next time. Bye bye.
By all of the LCK top teams.
What's this?